back with another live stream, attempting to get this set up and done right. I think we're good. It's Saturday. We can't really go outside because it's super smoky. In fact, it's gotten to the point where like you can see the ash falling down when you go outside. I just went out to my car to get something, and like you literally can see ash falling from the sky. So I'm assuming, like, I don't watch the news, you know what I mean? So I'm assuming there's a what up, Kalina? I'm assuming there's a fire closer to Montana than previously, because before it was just smoky. Now it's smoky and ashy, and I've seen this movie before, so I know, I know the signs when the fire is getting closer. But we're not allowing that to stress us because we're way too blessed to be stressed. We're gonna deal with that as we need to deal with it. But it's for those reasons that I'm being inside. Like I'm making myself stay inside. Like all I want to do is be outside, but it's dangerous out there. Um, I know the air quality isn't the best, so we are inside. Blessed to have a indoor situation that we can enjoy, and so I'm like, why not turn on the camera and talk with my peoples? We got time. We got relatively strong internet, so let's go. D Skizzle, how you doing? Carmichael, what up, Alejandro? Bobby, what up, J Hart? Yeah, it's bad smoky here in Montana. Bobby, my Saturday's going overall. My Saturday's going good. Teacher Jasmine B, good to see you too. Thank you. What up, Karen? Carmichael says it's a hot freaking day. I can't wait to get home and make some dinner. Are you feeling healthy and blessed? I am. I am, Carmichael. Like I gratitude. Now that I have like a gratitude practice in my life, I'm always happy and feeling blessed to be as healthy as I am. And a lot of y'all can attest to this. Like, in life you have different things that might happen from time to time, different health things that might reoccur. But you're happy to be as healthy as you are, right? And I'm grateful to have the health to still be able to like move around freely and get on here and talk to y'all and not be in a hospital somewhere. So like I'm good, man. That gratitude practice has been life changing for me. Because no matter what happens, there's always something to be grateful for. So even moments where there are some different health things going on, it could be so much worse. So I'm grateful for the health I have, and like I said, any day I can get up and move around and pretty much do what I want. We good. I do have gratitude gorilla. Hold on, where is gratitude gorilla? Hold on. I think it's right here. I told y'all. I told y'all. Where I go, gratitude gorilla go. So yeah, still here, still here. Ain't going nowhere. They've been up in the closet for a while, but we still here. Ty, I see you. Single in one piece. Okay. Hey, go for it. Yeah, Alejandro, I don't really know. There's wildfires all over this time of year. So um I think there was one in Spokane, I heard, but I'm assuming there's one closer now because it has to be relatively close for you to start seeing the ash. So if I was to look it up, there's probably one close by, but we'll see. Logical. I do take solace in the fact that like if things get too crazy in one place, I can go somewhere else, be that domestically or internationally. That's why I keep my passport. I just had to get my passport renewed. That's why I got a passport, and I keep it, current, which is easy to do. It lasts 10 years. Once every 10 years, you gotta you gotta renew it. But yeah, things get too crazy in America. You can always hop on a plane, go somewhere else. So it's a big world. And I think that which put us here made it a big world on purpose for that reason. We came up with these imaginary thing called borders and countries and stuff like that. So it makes it a little harder to move about, but it's still possible. And I'm grateful for that. So there's some people who don't have the ability to move around internationally, or their passport isn't as accepted as ours is. So grateful for things like that, and that's why I tell people to get their passport. It gives you more options for like $130, $150, whatever it is. It opens you up to be able to like move around the world. Like, why wouldn't you have that? Even if you don't ever plan on traveling internationally, why wouldn't you spend that money once every 10 years, less than $200, just to have that in case? Or like in case you want to take a trip. You may not have any plans to go nowhere, but then so all of a sudden, all your girlfriends or all your guy friends like, hey, we taking a trip to so and so. Or maybe, your kid goes off to study abroad and you want to go visit her in Germany. I don't know. But like, why wouldn't you spend that money, get your passport, and just have it as an option? Like, I don't understand. Um, but that's where I'm at with it. Am I tired of living in Montana yet? I wouldn't say I'm tired, but I am ready to move on. I am ready to move on. Jay Hart, my stomach has been feeling a lot better recently. Thank you, thank you. I went and got some of that Greek yogurt yesterday. Everybody was telling me to get some of that Greek yogurt. I went and got some. I don't know if this is the reason, if the yogurt was the reason, but I had one of the best naps I have had in forever yesterday. I went down there, got me some of that Greek yogurt from Walmart. I got the cheap Greek yogurt. I had one of the best naps ever. I napped so good yesterday that I didn't sleep that well last night. But since I'm not working, it doesn't matter if I don't sleep well. I just get up and do something. So, but I had an amazing nap. So my stomach is doing a lot better. Thank you. Thanks for asking. Okay, I see you spinning. Eating gummies down there at the library. Gonna go see Sarah McLaughlin tonight. Okay, okay, let's go. Folderole. How you doing? Yeah, health is wealth. Midas, I feel blessed to be sober in my 40s. You know what I mean? Like I'm a day does not go by where like, and maybe I don't think about it every day, but a day does not go by that I am not extremely grateful that I was able to get sober. Like the people who knew me from back then will tell you, like if I hadn't got sober, I don't know what I'd be doing right now. You know? So if I'd even still be here. Like not being dramatic, but that's true. Like it was not a good look for me when I was drinking. And it was not a good look for many, many, many years. And I'm so blessed that I was able to get through it with as unscathed as I did, and that I was able to get sober. So like, you know what I mean? Like for me, it's one of the biggest blessings in my life. One of the hardest things I had to do, but I feel so blessed I was able to do it. You know, I know a lot of people, especially you grow up in cultures where like everybody drinks, and some people think it's a bad thing you can't drink. I think it's amazing that I don't drink. I think it's such a blessing I was able to get to this point. So that's why like sometimes when people find out I'm sober, they're like, "Oh, I don't want to talk about drink." I'm like, I'm not that type of person. You can talk about drinking around me all you want. You can drink around me all you want. All you're really doing is adding fuel to the sobriety fire. You know what I mean? Because when I get around people and they drinking and some of them start acting crazy, I'm like, I used to be that dude. You know what I mean? So like, there is no longing for drinking, or even though I can look back and understand I had some amazing times drunk. Um, I feel so blessed to be sober in my 40s, like genuinely, genuinely. Stress free, have a positive mindset. Let's go, boss. Greek yogurt helps you sleep too, Justin? Okay, maybe there's something in the yogurts. Am I saying eating gummies considered not sober to you? I didn't weigh in on that at all, spinning. That ain't that's on you. That's on you. Hey, have fun. You know what I mean? I don't you brought that up. Romania in the building. How you doing, Lucid? Delano, good to see you too. Thank you. Do I think there's a connection between religious upbringing and addiction later in life? I won't say that I've ever seen a direct correlation moments enough that I was like, I mean, because the people I know that struggle with addiction cross the gambit of life. You know what I mean? So I can't say I've ever seen that, because I know a lot of people never grew up with any type of church or religion, and they were addicted too. So I don't really think that, like, in my opinion, that's how addiction works. I think addiction can get anybody. You know what I mean? And I think there's lots of different things that gets people to the point where they're addicted. Um, so I think it affects people in all walks of life. That's been my personal experience, at least. Yeah, Catherine, so much more time, energy, and cash when you sober. Exactly. What up, South Africa in the building? I see you, Felix. It's hot in Tallahassee. I could imagine, Sarah. It had been hot here in Montana, and then the heat went away and the fires came, the smoke came. But yeah, it had got real hot for a while there. So I can imagine down there in Florida it's probably hot. F Doctor, I do not have a name for my supporters. I mean, I don't even like to say supporters. People would be like supporters, followers, fan. I don't like none of that. Like, you know what I mean? Like we all grown. Like like I'm subscribed to a lot of YouTube channels, and there's a lot of people that I rock with their content. I don't consider myself. You know what I mean? I don't know. Like I don't really have a. The closest I'll come is if someone donates, they part of the super chat squad. Beyond that, like I don't. You know what I mean? Like I just never. People have been asking me that for over a decade. It's just not something that I'm into. You know what I mean? Lucinda, how you doing? The Queen, what up? Hollis checking in as well. It's stinking hot in even St. Louis. I feel like it's hot everywhere. That's the consensus I'm getting. People up in Alaska like, bro, it's hot, and I'm it's hot. I feel like it's hot everywhere. Oh, video. I'm still watching WNBA. That's my thing, man. You gotta have a hobby. I believe that hobbies and things that you enjoy just for the sake of enjoying it are important, and the W is that for me. Like I love the WNBA. So yeah, definitely still a fan. Oh, it's a nice day in Ohio. Okay, it ain't hot in Ohio. Okay, maybe you just like the heat, John Doe. What up, Droopy? Hey, Tea Time Dream. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Super Chat Squad. Thank you so much. Thank you. Coming through with the euros. Okay. Okay, different types of cash. Okay, the Freedom Fund takes all types of cash. Thank you. Thank you. You're welcome. The thanks said thank you, so you're welcome. And I appreciate that 10th super on the live stream. Thank you. Tea Time Dreamer. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you. Oh, North Carolina's good. It ain't hot there either. Oh, I'll shut up. I'll shut up. Yeah. I'm like, it's hot everywhere. People are like, not where I'm at. I don't know what y'all talking about. It's nice in Ohio. It's nice in North Kakalaki. I'll shut up then. Okay. Okay. Y'all, I'm happy for you. Spinning. I don't do favorites. Sarasota, Florida, superhuman. Okay. Okay. I see. I knew John likes the heat. John likes the heat. It's hot. It's hot in Ohio. I knew it. It's hot. He just like the heat. John does like the heat. It's like 98 degrees. It's fine here. I respect that. I respect that. Travels with Claire. How you doing? You're getting the notification. I'm glad. I'm glad you're getting the notifications. The algorithm is showing your boy love. Thank you. And I appreciate you coming through after you get the notification. Oh, here's a good question. Let's unpack this. Moment says, has your definition of freedom changed over the years? I don't, it's funny moments. I don't think for I know that for many years of this journey, I didn't have a definition of what I thought freedom was. Like the whole your definition of thing typically comes when on the backside of someone asking you. Like you don't sit around in life and be like, what's my definition of love? What's my definition of freedom? That usually comes someone asking you. And I think for many years, no one had really asked me, so I don't really think about it. Um, and even now, like, I don't think I sit around and be like, what is my current definition of freedom? Um, I will say my views on freedom and how free I think I would be able to be has changed. As I've been on this journey longer and longer, I feel like my belief in like how free I could be um, has expanded. But I think my definition of freedom has kind of been the same. It's just trying to be free. You know what I mean? I like feeling free. I like being free. So yeah, I don't think my definition has really changed. I just kind of think my views on freedom and my belief in how free I could be has changed over time. If that made any sense. I think it did. Do I miss the social aspect of not working? Um, it kind of depends on the job. Typically, no. Because a lot of times, if I'll give you an example. The job I just left now, well, I was working with one of my best friends on the planet. I love her to death. She means the world to me, and that was pretty much part of the reason I took the job. You know, they was paying your boy good because she got me a good rate of pay. She was my boss. So yeah, I was there for the money. But the neck, if right there with that, or probably slightly above it, was the chance to work with her, because we hadn't worked together in a few years. And that is one of the drawbacks of leaving that job, is I won't get to see her as much. But I think we both agreed that like the job was at a point to where like we're blessed that we had 7 to 8 months to work together, and I'm cool with that. And I know we'll get to see each other again and hang out, you know, in other ways. Who knows? We might even work together again one day. I'm sure we will. Hopefully, this time it'll be on some of our own stuff. So that's usually what happens when I leave a job. I usually have been there long enough that like I got to socialize like I wanted to. Because like I spend, you may not know, I spend 99% of my time alone. You know, so typically like at a job, I enjoy being around the one or two people I enjoy being around, and the rest of the people, you know what I mean? And that's no shade to them. They probably don't want to ever see me again. So yeah, I will miss some of the social interaction at a job, but like most of it, no. And by the time I leave a job, I've usually had enough of that that I'm good to go. So I guess the answer overall would be probably no. There's clothing optional beaches in Seattle. Okay, okay. Would I recommend for a solo traveler to visit Mexico? Thinking of going sometime next year. Kalina, I've only been to two cities in Mexico: Puerto Vallarta and Mexico City. I went to Mexico City with my good friend Allison. She's on the internet. Her channel is Travel Snacks. Um, but I definitely think, like, I mean, and Mexico City was a vibe. I'm so glad I went. I've been wanting to go. Um, Kind of a bigger city than Puerto Vallarta. So, and it's kind of hard to give broad recommendations. You know, is it would like if you have specific questions, it's kind of easier to answer than just be like, what do you recommend? I recommend going. You know, that's what I would say first and foremost. Puerto Vallarta, I've been 3 times solo, and I never had a problem. I'm pretty sure I could go to Mexico City solo, not have a problem. Um, I would keep. I kept to the Condesa and what is the Roma Norte regions of parts of the city, and it felt very safe. Um, but yeah, I say check it out. Go watch videos on it here on YouTube, and that was what like finally made my decision to go to. I think the first time I went to Mexico was in 2018 or 2019, but I was just watching videos of people who I think were far less street smart and savvy than me, and they was, you know, down there in Mexico having a blast, no problem. So I was like, if that couple can go, and be, you know what I mean? And I'm not saying you said I'm the most street smart person, but you know what I mean. We came up how we came up, you right? You know, I've spent 10 plus years of my childhood in Atlanta, so like even though I lived in a very nice suburban neighborhood, right around the corner was what it was. You know what I mean? So like you learn some things, you know, you know what I mean. So I see some people who I'm pretty sure didn't even have that level of what, and they was fine down there in Mexico. I'm like, if they can be there, yeah, no, I know how to carry myself. You know what I mean? I'm like, if they can be down there and ain't nobody robbed, kidnapped, or raped them, I know I can go. And so yeah, I went and like, yeah, once I got there, I'm like, oh, this thing. What was everybody talking about? Now, you know what I mean? Like there, even with that being said, someone who like people watches and pays attention, one thing I do you can realize in Mexico is that it is different. You know what I mean? So like there is an underlying, I don't even want to say fear level, but you realize quickly that like there's entities at play that may not be at play in a, in the States, but I don't think those entities are there to harm tourists. Just your average tourist who shows up. Honestly, I think they would, they make so much money off of us that like they don't want nothing to happen to you, because that's when the authorities get involved. So like, even though I was like kind of like, oh, okay, I see it. I never had no trouble. So yeah, I recommend Mexico. Like, how many people go to Mexico every year and have no problem. Um, I just think it's one of those places that, for some reason, people in America like to give it a bad rap. And when there is one issue, it's all over the news. But yeah, I say go, have fun. So many of us are relocating there and moving there. Um, so yeah, I say just go, enjoy yourself. Victory, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, you're looking forward to Yellowstone, but having lots of doubts and uncertainties. You're absolutely right. That's par for the course. Like you can't get around that. If if you could get around that, everybody would be doing crazy stuff, right? That's the price you have to pay. The price you have to pay if you want to do something different, if you want to do something outside your comfort zone, you want to do something a little different than what everybody else is doing, is the doubt and uncertainty. Like I mean, think about it. Anything in life that you're going to do that you've never done before that has a little risk involved has doubt and uncertainty. It like the only things in life that have no doubt are things that you've already done and you know how it works 100%, which there's very few things of that in life. So like, yeah, you're going to be doubtful, you're going to be uncertain. It really just comes down to, do you let those win or do you go for it? It really comes down to, are you going to do it or not? And the good news is you can do it with more fear and doubt and uncertainty than anybody else in the world, but you can still do it. And so that's, when we do things in life, it's doing it in spite of. We rarely do it because, one day it's magically easy. Nah, we do it in spite of. So, and I'm sure you will too. You'll look back on this moment and be like, I'm so glad. Like, all these fears I had were crazy. I'm so glad I did it anyway. Savion, what up? John Doe used to live in Merida. I was just watching videos about Merida, by the way. Is that how you pronounce it? Merida, Mexico? 587. What will I do now? You got to stay tuned and see. I'll be honest with you. I don't fully 100% know yet. You know, um, I'm. This is just my personality type, I think. But I make like base level plans, and then the other stuff I just figure out as I go along. Like that's just me. Like I don't. I'm not one of those people who plans out. I'll do this. I might plan out a month ahead or something, just so I know I have a place to stay. But like sometimes I don't even do that. I remember the last time I was in Thailand last April, not this April 2025 ish, I think. It was the first time like I traveled internationally and I didn't book out where I was going to stay the whole time. Like I think I had an Airbnb for when I first got there, um, and then I just kind of like went along. Just I think maybe a hotel when I first got there, an Airbnb for a week. Maybe the first 2 weeks I had mapped out, but the last 2 weeks I had no clue. I was like, no, I'll figure something out, and I did. Um, so yeah, I'm more of a just like, go with the flow type person. Queen, you're a loner. Kids are married, living on their own, just you and the husband. You just go everywhere alone. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Logic. I do find myself, I think, naturally becoming friends with more women than men. Um, I don't really overthink it. I don't know. I just think it's just easier for me to like have the desire to meet women. Even if it doesn't turn into a relationship or anything sexual, I just think it's easier for me to like hang out with women. Dudes are cool, but like I think low key, I already have my male friend quota. Like, you know what I mean? So whereas like I love hey a new female, a new woman to hang out with. Cool, let's go. You know, um, dudes. I'm like yeah. I mean, if I meet a guy and we cool, like I'm not saying I'm like I ain't trying to kick it with you, bro. But like it's just not as you know. I have way more women in my phone than dudes. Like I you know like I don't know. It's just how I am. A lot of things I don't you know the why part. I notice a lot of people, and I think we're taught to be this way. We always try to like we try to analyze so much. I'm doing less and less of that these days. I just kind of like will identify, oh, this is how I am, and I might spend a couple minutes like I wonder why. But honestly, I'd like it's more under like figuring out who you are than trying to understand why you're that way. Especially if it's not something bad, you know. Doopy, I don't know what SSRIS is. I don't know what that means. Spinny, you wanna roll today. Yeah, America loves getting other countries bad raps. However, I'll say this. Other countries do the same. You know. Like I've talked to people from other countries and they was like, oh, we heard America was just horrible. And we get here and like it's nothing like what people said. So I don't think that's a purely American thing. We just realize those of us who are American, we understand because we get the propaganda from America. But other countries do the same thing, you know? John Doe lived in Latin America for 3 years, totally worth it. Let's go. It always works out, Claire. You're right. You're right. It always works out. It don't always work out the way we thought it would, but it always works out. Like, I mean, that's what life does. It works out, you know? Drew, what up, what up, what up? Glad you got beautiful weather there. Not so beautiful here. You're starting to see the ash fall from the sky, you know, from the fires or whatever. So, but we'll get through it. We'll get through it. It's gonna rain too. I got faith it's gonna rain too. Asher, I'll show you. I did a short about these, but I'll show you. You said what camera mic are you using? I'll show you. I've been trying to invest in carrying cases. Like like I used to carry a lot of my stuff in improvised carrying cases. So now I'm trying to invest in nice. When I put stuff in my suitcase, I want it to all Anyway, camera. I'm using the DJI Osmo Pocket 3. Simple to use. Sometimes that part messes up. There we go. Very simple to use. Um, that's what I'm using. And for micro, are you talking about now or like for my videos? This is for my videos. Um, and then I sprung for the little wireless microphone. I think that was like 25 bucks. The camera was like 5, and that was like 25. Um, yeah, so that's what I'm using for my videos. For this live stream, I'm just using my phone. Even though I do have a webcam, but I don't use it a lot. Um, but yeah, that's the camera I'm using now. So, like I said, I think all in microphone, camera, SD card, I might have 550 in it, which is really a good deal. It's really a good deal for the pictures, for the quality. Sarah, I thoroughly enjoyed my 30s. I thoroughly enjoyed my 30s. My 30s was kind of my transition decade because like early 30s I was fine. I was in the party mode, all that. Getting a little long in the tooth to be living like that. And then like mid 30s is when I started doing seasonal work and traveling. Um, And I gotta say, I do talk about my 20s and my 40s a lot. You're right. I don't really say 30s, but yeah, like my 30s were the beginning half, not as much, but the latter half after I discovered seasonal work, bro, like that was when I did so many new things. You know what I mean? I took my first flight. I'd never been in a plane until my 30s. You know, I started traveling in my 30s. You know, I went to Alaska in my 30s. I went to first time went international was in my 30s. Like I had so much fun. Like from like 35 to 40 was like crazy. Um, but yeah, my 30s were amazing. You know, I just met so many new people, you know? And like now I'm used to like going to a seasonal job, meeting new people. It was new to me back then. So like, yeah, 35, 36, 37, when I really just started on this journey, it was amazing. It was amazing. Yeah, that is a good point. I don't talk about my 30s that much. I need to do that more. That's too jumpy. Yeah, every character is his own, every country is his own main character. Yes. Oh, SSRIs are depression meds. Oh, okay. Video. I never really weigh in on other people's use of medication. Um, I tell my own story that like they didn't really work for me. The whatever mental inhibitors I had in my mind that kept me from doing certain things, the depression meds took those away. So I found myself doing crazy stuff. Now keep in mind this was 20 plus years ago, so they might have changed the medications, but I found myself doing crazy things that were totally out of my character. Um, and at the time, it seemed like I wanted to do it because the medication was messing with me. Um, but then, like, eventually when I stopped, I was like, what was I doing? You know, so for me, and there's tons of different medications out there, it didn't work. But then I know other people who it did. And that was what like really helped them to like stabilize their life. So I never weigh in. I say exhaust every possibility. And if some things don't work for you, well, then they don't work for you. But you don't know what will or what won't, you know? Hey, JF, what does that say? JFL Tech. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Super Chat Squad, thank you so much. Let me give you a like on that. Hold on, give me 1 second. Let me put you a like on that. It says, love the gratitude practice. I tend to watch history of diseases, and man, the plague was kicking humanity's arse, and I'm thankful for modern medicine. Facts, facts. You know, JF, there's so many different things throughout history that aren't happening right now that we can be grateful for. The fact that Genghis Khan ain't out there, ain't out there sweeping across, you know, Alexander the Great, like all these conquerors in history that was like just conquering the whole world. We don't really have one of those right now. We could be thankful for that. You know, they ain't out there like, hey, if Samantha the Great ever get here, it's over. You know what I mean? Like there's no, there's, you know what I mean? Like stuff like that. Like you have to think about that. You know, it doesn't take to when you have a gratitude practice, um, and you'll see something and be like, man, even though we're dealing with this right now, we're not dealing with that. You know, I look at things the same way. It's like, man, you know, the world is what it is, but like it's still pretty cool. You know, you still can be grateful. You know, and thank you so much for the love. Thank you, thank you. We here, appreciate y'all. Leslie, how you doing? Spinning wheel. I think any, not even you said hardcore Jesus people, but like I think any people you'll notice any extremist seem unhappy. You ever notice this? Any extremist seem unhappy. Two people could have the same faith, same beliefs, whatever. The person who's just kind of believer, especially if it's something that you know a teaching that's about love and inclusion and all that, as Jesus, if you really follow his words, was, as most of the holy women and men throughout history were, they seem pretty chill. It's the extremists who always seem unhappy. That's where they're always having to like yell at people and try to convert people and kill people, and you know what I mean? The extremists are unhappy because like extremes are weird. You know what I mean? Like extremes are a problem. But like when you just kind of middle of the road it, yeah, usually fine. I'll tell you, look at it. I mean, that's what it always is. The people, what it's always the extremists who like mess stuff up, and they're never happy. That's why they have to keep messing stuff up. Solar Fire, how you doing? Thank you, thank you. So you the best. Thank you. Dirty 30 is what we did, what we did, what we do. Yeah, yeah, Clyde. Like, I'm learning throughout my life. The older I get, the younger I am. Clip that. That was a bar. Bars. The older I get, the younger I realize I am. You know, when you're 20, you think you grown, grown, grown. 25, you think you know everything. You know what I mean? Like I keep hitting these ages that everyone told me I would be old at, and I still realize how young I am. Especially like if I tap in and listen to people older than me. You know, I'm 46. I'm like, I'm big grown. Somebody 66 is like, nephew, nephew, don't even come with me like that. Somebody 86 is like, I'm not even gonna talk to you. You know what I mean? So as I'm saying, the older I get, the younger I realize I am. Like 46 is nothing. I get to do this all over again, another time. You know? Let's go. Walking, how you doing? London in the building. Let's go. Same, Leslie. You know, I like that. Even if our freedoms aren't always perfect, we're grateful for the ones we have. And I think that's a very mature way to look at things. Because so many people spend so much time griping about the imperfections of the freedom that they don't appreciate all the freedom they have. You know, instead of griping about the 10% of freedom that needs to be fixed, look at the 90% you got going on. You know what I mean? Um, and I think the more objective you are about stuff like that, that lends itself more towards fixing the problems we do need to fix. That goes back to what we were just saying about extreme. Some people get so worked up about certain things and like they refuse to be objective about it. And in that situation, you're not going to get the people to work with you that you need to work with you to fix what you're trying to fix. I think we're objective about like genuinely what the issues are and we're grateful for the things that have changed. And then we can have discussions with other people who may not see things like us. But if both of us come to the table objectively, I think that's how we get things done. But when both sides are at extreme odds, well, we're just yelling across the table. You know, that is one of the things I notice when it comes to like racial things. It is very easy to get caught up in the nothing's ever gonna change, blah, 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 blah. But from talking like my dad, we talk about this a lot. Like from someone, who was there when it wasn't, when it was bad, and to see how much it has actually changed and how much better it has actually gotten from like the 1940s. Then you don't walk around with this chip on your shoulder about racism 24/7, and you can appreciate that we live in a country that has, in say like my dad's lifetime, changed so much and has gotten so much better. And do we still have progress to be made? Yes. But I, for one, am optimistic that we'll make that progress because I can look back and see how much progress we already made. And I think that goes for any problems, especially with different groups and communities that are still, struggling. We can see the growth already. And instead of just focusing on, it's like, oh, okay, we did this. How about we do this? And I believe we'll get there because we've already gotten here. But it's so easy to only focus on the broken and not how much we've already fixed. Nafisa, how you doing? The same, Drew. The hardcore political people are always angry. Blink 182, What's My Age Again, is literally one of the best songs ever. Blink 182 is a group I really appreciate. Antoinette, how you doing? Yeah, Victor, anyone who says it's all downhill after 30 is obviously 22. Like, but we can't blame them. Like, this the messaging society has told them, you know? So, yeah, video, I'm with you, you know? You know, it's when it becomes less about God and more about how can we get more people to come to our building. Marie, the way I deal with coworkers who make the job more stressful for no reason, I try to engage with them as little as possible. First and foremost, that's probably my major thing. I just try not to engage with them at all. And when I have to, you know, Jim Rohn, the motivational speaker, said something in like one of the first talks of his I ever watched, and he was saying he used to try to figure out why liars lied. And he was like, I don't do that no more. Of course they lie. That's why we call them liars. You know, and like that, you get annoyed because you just want to show up to work, do your job, go home, and there's some genius over there just gossiping or talking trash, just making it difficult. And you're like, why is this dude like that? I finally got to the point where I'm like, I don't need to spend precious brain cells trying to analyze why this dude is like that. That's just he just like that. Why is he a lazy, gossipy, scummy person? Because he's a lazy, gossipy, scummy person. I don't know. You know, so I just kind of try to just accept. And yeah, it still annoys you, but I'm just, hey, that's just the way this dude is. That's just the way she is. She gonna do this. I just have to figure out how to get through my day despite that. You know? Because yeah, the more time I spent talking about them or trying to change them or whatever, it got worse. It doesn't get better. But the times when I just like ignore the person or only talk to them as much as I need to, you know, it seemed more manageable. 121. You worry about missing the boat being a dad? I think men can keep having kids until they're like 60s, you know, so I wouldn't worry about that. I get it though. I get it. I get it. But I think you'll be good. Raz, how you doing? Hey Leslie, yeah. Look forward to that video. Whitman, I'm good. I'm good. Sober for over 2.5 years today. Today you nearly relapsed. Just because I thought maybe this time would be somewhat different. Are you familiar with that thought? Um, Personally, no. But that's not surprising. Um, you know, I think as sober as I am, and you know, for me, I don't really think about drinking a lot. It's still in me, so I can understand that. Like I will never, that will never, the you know the drinker in me will always be there. So I could see some days you'd be like, man, I could have another drink, and you know, it's been 2.5 years. I know I could control it. You know, why not? It's not outside the realm of logical reasoning to understand that that might happen. And honestly, that's not the end of the world. Just don't relapse. You know what I mean? Like these thoughts pop up and you have these ideas and you might get really close. Just don't do it. It don't matter how close you get. Just don't do it. You know? You can get as close as you want to the stovetop. Just don't put your hand on it. You get as close as you want to the fire. Just don't step off in that mug. You know what I mean? So it's like you're gonna have thoughts like that from time to time, I would imagine. Just don't do it. You know, and you know, tell yourself, okay, this is just my brain being weird, and the part of me that is a drunk every now and then, you know, tries to assert itself and use some crazy logic to try to make me drink or to test me, and I just know not to listen to it. I mean, you've gone 2.5 years without drinking, so like obviously you don't need it. So why go back? Like the risk of it not being different this time is not worth it. And if it was different this time, do you really want to go back to drinking? You know what I mean? So like, you know, our brain puts thoughts out from time to time. It's kind of like the algorithm on YouTube. Every now and then it'll throw up a topic that 5 years ago I was watching that maybe I stopped watching. And I'll notice every now and then it'll throw one of those videos in just to see if I'm back into that. I think our minds are like that sometimes. Every now and then it'll throw something out and be like, I know it's been 3 years, but drinky poop? And it's like, you're just like, nah, bro, I'm good. You know? So yeah, I can see that happening. But almost relapse is totally different than relapse, you know? You got this. I wouldn't worry about it. Raz, thank you. Thank you. So you're looking good. Thank you. Yeah. 121. I think there's always going to be coworkers that are like that. It's who they are, you know? Just like most of us, I would imagine, decent, good people, decent, hardworking people. There's always going to be some of us there. It's kind of low key not fair to not, expect there to be the other side. That's something I'm learning in life too. Is like I've decided to play the game as somebody with morals and principles. That's the way I decided to play the game of life. Other people have decided to play it as, thieving, greedy, scummy people. That's their right. And as I can get annoyed by it, and like I may not rock with them people, but I kind of have to accept like that's their right. And some of them came to that conclusion because of things they've been through, their environment, their upbringing. So like I gotta respect it. I don't have to like it. I don't have to rock with you, but like that's if that's how you decide to play the game, you know, that's your right. If that makes any sense. Janet, how you doing? Blessings to you as well. Thank you. Yeah, Christus, things like you said have improved so much. We got a lot of us can look back to times where things was different, and they've improved. And I think it's good to focus on that. Raz said, "I'm an introvert. I just don't engage with nobody." I am just lying. How you doing? Draynor, thank you. MH, good to see you. Where you been? We here. And I've been doing live streams more often, so it's probably why you're able to catch one finally. Clyde, that's exactly that. I love using that relationship analogy with drinking, because yeah. It's like that ex trying to creep back in, who ain't good for you. That's why you broke up with her in the first place. But you give it a year or two, and they hit you up. They slide in your DM. Hey, how you doing? Miss you. You like, you start thinking about the good times. Man, he never, shit, she wasn't. But it's like, nah, don't even. Nothing wrong with thinking about it. But don't reply to that. You know what I mean? Don't invite them back over. It's not worth it, brother. We know. Oh yeah, that's actually a map of Yellowstone National Park on the wall. I'm an Airbnb, so like it's their decorations. Spinning. I I can't. I give people credit, and I believe in people. So I don't have this viewpoint of like, oh, I'm strong minded, so I could do it. Other people aren't that strong minded. No, I don't. Will some people never get sober? Yeah, but I don't think it's some. I don't think it's some thing that I have that other people don't. I just think it's you know putting in the work, and I do think the struggle is different and harder for other people in different things. But I don't like to think like with anything in life that there's just like, oh, that person isn't strong willed enough or strong minded enough. Um, I think we get to the place we're going to get to when it's time to get there, and if we're willing to put in the work to get there. Um, and why some people put in the work and some don't, or why it takes some people longer, or you know, who can say? But I believe in everybody. You know, I genuinely do. I believe that anybody who wants to get sober can. And it may take a long, long time, and it might be a hard, hard, hard fight. But like, I think you can get there. Um, yeah, yeah. And I think you have to have that belief in general in life. Is that, you know, like, if I have that belief for myself, I have to have that belief for everybody. And that's sometimes people don't want to say stuff like that because they're like, well, for the people who don't do it, then you're saying they just didn't want to do it. I not even going there. My thing is this: if I have the belief in life that I can do whatever I put my mind to, I have to have that belief that other people can't too. Because like I'm not gonna sit here and act like I'm anything special. So like if I believe, oh man, I can influence my life, I can do what I want to do, I believe the same for everybody else. You know? So that's why I look at it that way. Siobhan, I do not miss drinking. I can look back at some of the fun, good, amazing times I had and like reminisce on them, but I ain't trying to go back. It's like the ex, conversation we have. A lot of people, had to break up with people who they genuinely loved, but it just wasn't the right situation. There were things going on. It wasn't going to end well. It wasn't the right person for them. They had to break up with them. They might look back fondly at some of the times they had, and they might still remember that love, but they're not going to go back to that person because they know it's not good for them. So it's like that's how I am with drinking. It's just like, man, I had some amazing times drinking. I also had some horrible times drinking, but I'm not going to go back to it because like it's not worth it. Like you know what I mean? I'm trying to. I'm not trying to backtrack in life. I'm trying to move forward. I know where that road goes. I'm trying to try some of these new roads. So like, it rarely even crosses my mind. And when it ever does, I'm just like, no, I'm good. It's like with dating. Like instead of focusing on like, man, I wish I was still with I could go back to no, find somebody new. What are we doing? You know? So yeah, that's what how I look at drinking. Ty 2019, how you doing? Good to see you. Hey Whitman, you're welcome. I've never heard of RK, no. Yeah, we done a little afternoon live stream. Y'all know. Okay, spinning wheels. I think we've got you've made it more than clear that you're taking the gummies. So respectfully, I don't think we need to hear about that anymore. Just because like there's a lot of people who ain't into that. So I appreciate you gummied out right now, but like we don't need to continue mentioning that respectfully. What I'm having for lunch dinner today? I actually went down there to the Winco early because I was gonna go out and find a park to hang out at and film a couple shorts. But like I said, it's smoky out there. The ash is falling. I can, kind of feel it affecting me a little bit. So I was like, I'm just gonna go back home. So I just went to Winco. I got some chicken wings. I got a couple chef salads and some deviled egg potato salad. And I got this. I'm gonna drink this right now though. But I got this a lot. It's made by. I think it's made by. Is it made by GT's Living Foods as well? I think so. The same people who make the GT's Living Foods. The same people who make the kombucha I like. So yeah, we going it's kind of a calming, relaxing soda. So yeah, we gonna eat good. We gonna eat good. Yeah, them chicken wings cost me like $1 a piece. I wasn't gonna do it, but I was like, you know what? While we just got our last paycheck Friday, I said from work, I said while we still spending job money, let's get some wings up in here. You know? It makes you sleeping and working, getting them coins. Let's go, save up. I'm not a Christian counselor. No, I'm not even a Christian, Janet. Queen said no shopping unless you really need something, makes you go into debt. I think that's goes back to that extremism we're talking about. Um, I and this is coming from someone who did a video about the no buy nothing rebellion. Um, I'm a big believer, and this is just my opinion. I think you can buy stuff and not go into debt. I think we're just either like we have this idea that you either have to be the frugalist, frugally person. You got to be frugal McFrugally, or you're $30,000 in credit card debt. I think there's a middle ground where like you buy the things you need, and and on occasion when you have the coins, you buy stuff you don't need but that you like. You know, just don't go into debt with it. Don't go crazy with it. I think you can consume without over consuming. But I think we live in a society, I know here in America, where it's like either you don't buy anything ever, or buy whatever you want. It's like a lot of people just live within your means. You want, a shirt, a dress, or whatever, you got the money, buy it. You know, just don't go into debt with it. I don't know. I feel blessed that like that thought process came naturally to me. Like no one ever told me. I think I just saw my parents, living within their means, and I just picked that up. But like, it never occurred to me to like go deep in debt. I was like, if I don't have the money for it, I ain't gonna buy it. I just thought that was normal. So I feel blessed that like I had that messaging. Jed, I really don't have a fitness nutrition routine. I have a hyper metabolism, so it doesn't really matter what I eat. It just kind of goes through me pretty quickly. So yeah, I'd be lying if I said I did any. Like I do work hard, you know. But even when I'm not working, if I was to just sit around and eat junk food all day, my stomach would kill me. But like I might gain, 5 pounds. Like I don't. It's just I just have a hyper metabolism. Like I don't gain weight. So I actually wish I did. I could use like 10 pounds. Me with 10 pounds on me, bruh. But So yeah, I just have a hyper metabolism. But I do go out, and I don't do it to stay slim or whatever. I just enjoy walking, and I think it's healthy. 11 more likes to 100. Thank y'all. Um, so like yeah, I love going out in nature and taking long walks, and I didn't have a car for almost 2 years. I did a lot of walking, but I don't do that to like stay fit or have a routine. I just enjoy walking. But yeah, honestly, I just have a hyper metabolism. You know. Yeah, I'm just naturally slim. Yeah. Patrick, how you doing? Good to see you. Hey, Planner, what up? We staying positive. Let's go. Y'all know I got to keep my wings. Yeah, yeah. F Doctor, the fires are still going. And honestly, before they were a ways away. I think there must be one closer now. Because like I said, I went into my car to get something right before I started the stream. I literally saw like ash falling, and you can smell it now. Before it was just smoky. Now you can smell it starting to be ash. Um, I'm manifesting it raining in a couple days, so hopefully it won't be a problem. But yeah, yeah, Winco's a vibe, man. They know me down there to the Winco. I was in Winco. I was in Winco the other day, and I always go to the self checkout, and there was there's a guy who always works the self checkout, and there's when I buy water, a lot of times the machine, because it goes by weight, so when you scan the water and put it to the side, it throws the weight off. So the self checkout attendant, they always have to come help me. Um, and the ginger beer, which is not beer, it's soda, but they call it ginger beer. For some reason, the one I like to buy, it messes the machine up too. So the attendants up there, the self checkout attendants up at Winco, they know me. So the guy, they know me so well that one of the guys ended up having to go work in the deli, and I go to the deli to get my chicken thighs a lot. But he had like when they work in the deli, they have to have the plastic hat on, so he looked different. So I go back there and I'm like, hey, can I get 5 of the baked chicken thighs? And he was like, they got me back here now. And I was like, oh, you my man from up front, so we had a little conversation. But like, yeah, that's how much I go into like Winco. That like, when they move departments, they let me know. He like, I'm back here now. I'm like, oh, back, good to see you. You know what I mean? Um, but yeah, I be in Winco all the time, man. I love Winco. Yeah. It's if I'm looking to go somewhere, like travel somewhere, especially if I'm gonna stay for a length of time, if there's a Winco close by, boom, I'm there. Like if I'm looking at Airbnbs and there's a Winco close by, that's usually my sign to like, okay, that's for you. You know, debt free gang, let's go. Ty, let's do it. Let's do it. Get a van, hit the road. Let's go. Like, and I say that not just like on a whim. Like I like when people say, "Hey, I'm thinking about doing this." I'm literally like, "Do it." You know, why not? Like, a lot of these things that seem crazy to us or crazy to other people. It's just an option. Like we. It's funny that we will do things that genuinely are crazy, but it seems normal to us. Working a job you hate for 20 years is nuts. It's crazy. We'll do that, and no one will say anything. Yeah, man, you got to do what you got to do. But if you're just like, hey, I'm gonna take some of this money that I saved up working as a job I hate for 15 years, and I'm gonna do some traveling, however you decide to do that, people will say that's crazy. What? You can't do that. Like, bro, like, you know what I mean? Like I look at other people's lives and I'm like, you calling me crazy? Because I want to go and do something that brings me joy, brings me happiness, and like I kind of have a backup plan in case it doesn't go right. Like that's crazy, but you doing this, I'm like, bro, that seems crazy to me. And maybe crazy is subjective. I think it is. But yeah, I just think like a lot of this stuff, the reason why like I instantly am like, go for it. It's like it's doable. Obviously, you want to do it. Like that's what life is supposed to be about. Going out and doing stuff you want to do. We have this idea that life is supposed to be suffering. I cannot stand when people are like, life is suffering. Stop. Someone told you that. You heard that. Life is not meant to be suffering. God cannot be love and simultaneously have put us all here to only suffer. I'm gonna create a race of people and make them suffer because I love them. It's like, stop, bro. You can't tell me this. So, like, if we're put here to enjoy life and be happy, let's prioritize doing things that like help us to enjoy life, be happy. And if you believe in a higher power who is love, then wouldn't it stand that like that higher power would be there to help us do these things? So that's what I'm like, go for it. Like, have fun. Let's dream with the lid off. Let's go. Hey, JFL Tech. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. Super Chat Squad coming through again. Thank you. Thank you. Said on the drinking topic, in my 30s, I drank heavily, just hit the clubs, never home, etc. Interesting, interesting. And yeah, I think it's we're all different when it comes to drinking. Some people like yourself, hey, I'm a pregame, then we get the club, ba ba ba. But then on a random Tuesday at home, nothing. Like, why would I drink if I'm not going out? Other people like me, it was every day. You know. Now I definitely drank more when the homies came through or when we was going out. But like even sitting at home by myself, I need a sixer, a 4-pack of tall boys, something. I got to get right. Which I think it was so much harder for me to quit because it was just a normal part of my life. Whereas some people, yeah, if they only do it like if you only do it going to the club, if you stop going to the club when you get a certain age, well, you're probably not gonna drink. So yeah, Jumpy, I was like you. I drink no matter what. It just got crazy when we went out. Like it was crazy. Northwest, I'm still in Montana. Janet, I appreciate you saying that. I'm kind and generous spirit. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, Ty, I don't do favorites. You said favorite place you visited. I don't really do favorites. Winco at 3 a.m. Let's go. Retired 2019. Yeah, yeah, yeah. July 31st was the last day of my job, so I'm giving myself another month here in Montana, and then we'll be hitting the road. But yeah, that was the free at last, free at last. Boy, I inspected 100 rooms on my last day. Like that's no cap, that's no exaggeration. 100 plus rooms. Now you know what y'all know what a double queen room looks like. Now think about how much stuff there is in that room that needs to be checked to make sure it's ready for guests to check in. Right? And do that 100 times in one day. Your boy be working. But, I got up out of there. Oh yeah, I be working and quitting. Facts. I don't know why more people don't. Notes from Corey. What up, what up, what up? Good to see you, nephew. Yeah, stand clear of them dogs. It's been too smoky to really even go outside to worry about them dogs. I should have recorded the dog chasing me. It happened too quick. Like I know, like I could like four likes away from 100. Thank you. Yeah, you know me, him. I had to get right. Kevin, good to see you. I mean, spinning. You said getting trash is kind of stupid on reflection. Even and this may sound crazy. Even coming from someone who's sober now, and I don't drink now. I don't look back at those years as wasted years. And I don't look back and be like, why would I ever do that? Like I said, I enjoyed drinking. I enjoyed being drunk. I loved it. It made sense to me. It was something I wanted, like it was something I wanted to do, so I did it. Like anything, if it doesn't mean anything to you or loses its meaning, you can be like, well, what's the point? Think about anything other than something you feel you have to do. Anything in life that you don't have to. You could be like, listening to music is kind of stupid on reflection. What's the point? You know? So like and for some people, if that's your truth, cool. But for me, like I understand why people get drunk. It's amazing. Right? I just can't do it anymore. And there's consequences and repercussions that, I think for a lot of us it's better for us just not to drink. But I totally get it, you know. But that's just me. I'm like I said, I'm a drunk, so 10 months sober. Let's go, Kevin. Yes. Congratulations, Kevin. Let's go. Let us go. That's awesome, Kevin. That is awesome. That is awesome. Congratulations, man. And thanks for letting us know. Thank you. Cal, I didn't really get bad withdrawals. That was one thing I never really had to deal with. It's funny, even when I was drinking, if I ever found myself like I skipped a day and it felt weird, I would take the week off. So like the physical withdrawals were like very minimal. Like I never really, a couple days I might be like, I feel a little weird, and then it was gone. Like I don't know why, but yeah, the physical withdrawals were never really an issue for me. Dynamic, what up, what up, what up? Yeah, we gonna keep this positivity coming. Hey, let's go. Simon on the right path. 160 days without alcohol. Congratulations. Let's go. Let's go. Yeah, it takes a while sometimes when we get there. Hey, see you later, Leslie. Gray, how you doing? I'm good. I'm good. So you're same old with me. Um, just let the job go on to someone who can be better at it, a better fit for it, I should say. They ain't gonna be better at it than me. Don't be fooled, folks. Even though your boy, quits a lot of jobs, you go to any job I had, they'll tell you Tim was one of the best to do it. Maybe not the best, because sometimes people come along, they're better than me. How you doing, Luz? Sometimes people come along, they're better than me, and it annoys the crap out of me because I'm very competitive at work. So just because I can't work long term doesn't mean I can't work. Your boy works, especially these days, because we there's no competition at work these days, very little. But yeah, I don't even know how I got on this subject. Oh, I was saying, I was working for about a year straight. I think I switched jobs somewhere in October, November. I was out of work for like 2 weeks. I went right back to work. But now we taking some real time off now. Jose, my boy, good to see you. Had a great July, and I'm having a good August. Let's go. Had to rely on my savings for summer because I work in public school as a substitute teacher. However, I know that will be all right. Yeah. I mean, that's why we have savings. Sometimes, the reason like the thing with savings is nothing wrong with like using it when you need it, and then when you start making money again, you build it back up. Like that's why we have it. That's why we have it. Once I got that thought in my mind, which y'all know me, I'm the guilty of like never wanting to touch my savings, but I've learned over the past few years like it's okay because I've always built it back up and even more. So Yeah, Jumpy. People around us think us for giving up the alcohol. You right? Hey, Raven, how you doing? What up, lady? I appreciate that 100 like. We up to 107 now. Thank you, thank you. Hey, Scenic, awesome, awesome, awesome. Glad we can meet at the Y. Glad we can meet at the Y. And I'm definitely gonna keep, putting that out there. So I appreciate those kind words. Icicle, I know. It's be proud of yourself. Be very proud of yourself. I'm proud of you. Everybody in this chat's proud of you. Be proud of yourself. Like it's something to be proud of. Like, because it's hard. You know what I mean? And a lot of people won't understand how hard the fight it was, but you know. So yeah, be proud of yourself. And yeah, hey, Jay Neal, yeah. So we all got different vices. We all, and sometimes we get over one and then we have to deal with another one. You know what I mean? That's some people have addictive personality. Some people there's just one thing. It's like, dang, that was hard for me. That's why anyone I feel like who judges someone for what their vice is, I'm like, bro, but you're not looking in the mirror, which I get. Some vices are a lot worse. Some things you can have a vice on, and it doesn't really ruin your life. Some stuff it does. So it might be easy to look down on someone who's addicted to meth, but it's like, bro, you got your stuff too. It just may not be as obvious, but you got your stuff too. Sis, you got your stuff too. Tim, you got your stuff too. So it's that struggle, of realizing some things aren't good for you and getting them out of your life eventually. Gray, what up? Gray Sean. Yeah. Side note: never say to someone, "I'm guess you remember me," because if they don't know what to say. Never question. Never ask someone in life, "Do you remember me?" Or be like, "I know you remember me." Never say that in life. It'll keep embarrassing moments. Let other people tell you they remember you. I've learned that being on the internet. Hey, no long work today, Winter. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Centered man. Hey, he says, not married, no kids, less work, less stress, more money, more fun. I don't know if I can give you the last part. I don't know if I can give you the more fun because I think there's some married people with children who have way more fun than me. So I don't know if I can give you that last one. I think that's just dependent on the person. I mean, all of those are kind of dependent on the person, but I definitely think, yeah, there's some of these nights when I'm sitting around by myself and I'm chilling. There's a father and a mother somewhere, just having the time of their lives with their kids as a family unit. 4 or 5 times the fun that I'm having. So, you know what I mean? Like I respect that. Oh, boring life in Portugal. Nice, nice, nice. See you spinning. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, you can't. Can you save yourself rich? I think you can, but I'll have to ponder that. I mean, I think you can save yourself rich. If you just save enough money, whatever rich looks like to you, if you save enough money to get there, I think you can save yourself rich. Yes. I think you can save yourself rich, you can invest yourself rich, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't save it. David, how you doing? Working on that freedom fund. Let's go, Born. Yeah, Icicle. I like that. He said, I thought a year ago I couldn't do it. Now I've done it. Yeah, exactly. How you doing, Erica? What's going on, NoX? Jumpy. He's gonna go to the stranger and be like, you remember me? I mean, that honestly might be a good pickup line. Just go up to a baddie and be like, hey, you remember me? And just see what happens. And then you tell her, like, oh, that's my pickup line, by the way. Mike01 Davis, how you doing? Still here, been watching. See what happens? Nah, we not in the restroom today. We not in the restroom. We was never in the restroom. I keep telling y'all, it's a co-working space, okay? You know, I try to spend a little money and being I'm just messing with you. Yeah. We in the Airbnb today. I said, hope everything is good, brother. Stay blessed, and I'll keep listening. Hey, I appreciate that. Appreciate that. Thank you. Hope everything is good with you and yours as well. And I appreciate you always coming through, and saying what's up. So it's good to see you. David, I when I was in Estes Park one winter, um, I had a four-wheel drive Jeep and I didn't put snow tires on it, but I didn't drive all that much. I just drove from town, from town to the Y and back. And if it was like when it wasn't like if it stopped snowing for a while, then I would drive to Loveland or Longmont. But I never really drove too much in the snow. Just that mile or so back and forth, you know. So I didn't elect to get snow tires, but I had a four-wheel drive too. So you can't save yourself rich? Okay. I mean, I think it depends on how much money you can save. Let's say you think rich is $1 million in the bank. If someone made enough money that they could save $100,000 a year, in 10 years they would have saved themselves rich. Whereas if you make less than that, you could get there by saving and investing. You know, that's all I'm saying is that like I think depending on how much money you make, you could save yourself to a money level that people consider rich. You just have to make a lot more money. So for most of us, no, we could never save ourselves rich. But I'm like, I think some people could. Once again, as the philosopher, the philosopher in me has to like really think about stuff. I can't just look at it from the base level. Like, yeah. You know, I have to be like, wait a second. I'm sure there's people out there who make enough money that, but we would say those people are already rich. That's going to be the next argument. People are like, if you can save $100,000 a year, you're already rich. So maybe you can't. Maybe they're already. Okay, these are the things that I go through my head at night when I'm trying to fall asleep. These are when I'm driving a long road trip. I'm like, can you? Before I know 3 hours have passed, and I still don't have an answer. Um, Hannibal says, I think you should marry and have kids because you seem to be coping and faking happiness and positivity. Thank you, Hannibal. It never ceases to amaze me how people who do not know me know that I'm faking. That never ceases to amaze me. How someone who does not even know me will be like, this guy's obviously faking. So this is my question. Why am I faking it? You know, if I was to get on here, let's say I was down, depressed, doom and gloom. Do you know how many more followers I would have? Do you know how much bigger my channel would be if I talked about doom and gloom and negativity like everybody else? If I lived a regular life like everybody else, did what everybody else did, and got on here and was negative, do you know how much more successful from like a YouTube standpoint I would be? So why am I faking it? Like, this is what I understand. What am I getting from faking it? Everything would be exponentially going better on YouTube if I wasn't faking it. So why, like this, make it make sense to me, people. Now I know Hannibal and other people who say that are just saying that because like they're just being trolls and haters. That's why they're getting blocked. But like or they just honestly don't understand, like just don't get me. But I'm like, Why would I, like, what am I getting by faking it? Now, what am I getting by being real? Is all the real rewards and success and the love that comes from being real. And to me, that's way more important than some of the other stuff that would come. But if I was the type of person who's willing to lie and fake it, I would much more want those other rewards. But fake button, I don't know. Speaking of rewards, hey Ryan, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Super Chat Squad, let's go. Ryan Sherwood, thank you, thank you. Sorry I had to go on that rant first. Thank you so much, Ryan. Says, hey Tim, nice to catch a live stream live. Usually watch these after being in Rotterdam, England. Love the positivity. I'm on my own sobriety journey, and know one day, thanks to your help, I'll be completely sober. Much love. Hey, much love to you as well. And yes, yes, stay on that journey. You will get there. I'm telling you, stay on the journey, keep going, and it seems like you already have the right mindset of just like, yeah, it's it's a struggle now, and we're fighting the fight, but one day the war will be won, and just keeping that in front of us. It's like, okay, I may not be at the finish line right now, but like the only way to get to the finish line is to keep running. You will one day get there. And thank you so much for the love. Thank you so much for the abundance. And please, when you get to that finish line, check back in and let us know. Like, hey, remember that time? I've been checking in and saying, "Dude, I'm there now, bro. Like, I'm there. Finish line. Me." So thank you, Ryan. Thank you so much for that love. Thank you. Thank you. You see how the universe works? Troll, hating, abundance. Like, you can't even, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. One person, fake positivity. Next person, like, hey, the content is really helping me make a major change in my life. Like, the love will always outweigh the hate times 100, bro. Like, they can't. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. Bro. How was your experience getting into and out of Yellowstone on the bus I believe they provide? They provided a bus to take us there, but like it's not. And at the end of the season, I think they provide the bus for you to leave, but it doesn't run like when I was there. It doesn't run like during the season. Like there's a big bus that brings everybody there, and when it's time to go, there's a bus they take you back. So I got fired, so I left in my boy Jan's Cadillac when I left. Yeah, no, he had to take me down to the Big Sky. I had to vacate the premises. But I've told that story. But yeah, the bus was cool. Like I really felt, and once again, this was early in my travel journey, and so I'll admit, going, you had to, even though I worked at Old Faithful in Yellowstone, which is actually in Wyoming, we had to come into Bozeman/Belgrade, Montana, and I had never been to Montana at that time. So I was a little nervous, for some reason I had this weird idea that like there was gonna be so much racism in Montana. Anyway, and so when the bus came to pick us up, just seeing there was a lot more diversity than I was expecting amongst the employees on the bus, and that kind of put me at ease. And honestly, like I had no reason to be concerned, but I didn't know any better. Like some things you have to learn. So when the bus pulled up and like everybody was coming out to get on the bus, and I saw a couple black folk, a couple biracial people, I felt a lot better. Which not like it didn't matter anyway. Everybody was cool. Every now and then you get that one person that nobody likes, and that usually is the person who turns out to want to say some little stuff. But they say stuff about everybody. You ever ran into a person who's not racist, but like since they just aren't happy with themselves, they use all the slurs towards every group. And it's like, bro, you just unhappy. You not even racist. Stop, bro. Like you not homophobic. You just unhappy. Stop. Anyway, so the bus experience was cool. Everybody's putting their stuff on the bus. One dude had like two 24 packs of beer. Like everybody was putting suitcases under the bus. He put two 24 racks under the bus. I'm like, oh, it's gonna be like that. Yeah, I was still drinking at the time, so I was like, oh, it's like that. Where are you gonna be at? But yeah, the bus ride was super cool. Just like everybody was talking, meeting people. It was a vibe. It was a vibe. Yeah, big yellow Yellowstone bus. Thank you, Senator Man. You know, like I'm like, I think most people, anyway, thank you, Raven. You know, that's what I'd like to think I may not be everybody's cup of tea, but I think most people will be like, Tim's being himself. You know what I mean? Like I don't. Most people will be like, hey, that's who he is. I can't stand him, but that's who he is. Or for the people like, hey man, Tim's a real dude. Yeah, yeah, that's my guy. He is who he is. You can ask any of my friends. They be like, Tim is gonna be Tim. You know what I mean? That's why we love him. I don't know. And yeah, Jack, there probably was some projecting going on there. And, Gray Sean, exactly. Like like for me, if I'm watching somebody's channel and they being fake, I just leave. I don't be like, wait a second, I got to let me wait till they live stream so I can tell them. But once again, I give people grace and I try to be empathetic and sympathetic. Obviously, something's happening in that person's life to where like they're moved to do stuff like that. So the goal is to help everybody. You know what I mean? We don't get to pick and choose. You know, once you leave the West End, you have no choice but to be positive having. I'm telling you, these people don't, you know what I mean? So, hey, man, when I get it. You get in a certain situation, scenarios, you're like, bro, I can't be unhappy. Because it used to, because I know what it used to be like. You know what I mean? They don't, nah, people don't. I was like, nah, I'm so blessed now, I couldn't fake it. I'm so blessed now, I couldn't fake it. Because there's been times where it was different, bro. That's what pets, nah, I don't have the pet gene either. I don't have the pet gene either. Like, I don't see the point. Yeah, stock trader. Shout out to my buddy Jan. He's moved on to glory now. He's moved on to his next existence. I think he was already in his 60s when I met him. Jan, this is one thing I love about seasonal work. Um, so I think I met Jan second day, first or second day at Yellowstone. I think second day, because we finally it was our first day of work. So we showed up at Old Faithful Inn. It wasn't open yet, so we were like, I think we were all on the second floor, and you go around and you do the introduction. Who are you? Say who you are, where you're from, blah 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 blah. And I think I got through mine very quickly. I'm Tim, I'm from Florida. Um, my boy Snacks, his was memorable because he was like, hey, he just has a great personality. He's like, hey, my name is Travell, but they call me Snacks, and everybody was like, Snacks, it's funny. My boy Stamos, which his name wasn't Stamos, but he looked like John Stamos. He got the biggest reaction because he was like, hey, my name is whatever, but everybody calls me Stamos, and all the girls went, oh, all the guys hated, instantly hatred, instantly. All the girls, they call me Stamos. Like when I say all the girls went, oh, like out loud. There was, whew. So I'm like, I'm not gonna like that dude, which he turned out to be one of my really good friends. I actually got him a job at Big Sky when I went there. But and then my buddy Jan, because he was older, I thought I was old at 35. Jan was like 60 something. Um, so I forget what Jan said, but I was it was apparent he had a good personality. Because I'm like, who's this old guy over here? Is apparent he had a good personality, and he said something that like I don't know what it was, like something just made me like drawn to him. And then I think they took us off to like train. And I think me and him got put in the same training group, and we just like instantly became friends. Like the people that like you say one or two things to, and you're friends. And Jan had owned so with FedEx, you own routes. Like the FedEx drivers, like you own routes. So it's not like FedEx, like you can buy a FedEx route. So like you can be an independent contractor, you own the route, and you deliver the packages for FedEx, and they pay you X amount per box. So, and them routes ain't cheap. My buddy Jan had owned multiple of those routes, and then he sold them all and came to do seasonal work. So Jan had money. That's why he had a big RV. He had the Cadillac. Like Jan had money. Jan was like, I don't even cash my checks. He's like, I have like later in the season. He's like, I think I got like 3 or 4 checks on my dresser. He was like, I don't even know where to cash them. But super cool. Like I said, he was in his 60s, super cool guy. And he loved just like, just being very outgoing, He, especially like the international students, he was always like taking them out to dinner and driving, like always driving people around. If you needed a ride into town, Jan would give you one. Just a very nice guy. And so yeah, when I ended up getting fired, he let me stay. I stayed with him for I think a night in his RV. Um, until he had the day off. It might have been a night or two, and then he had the day off, and then he drove me to Big Sky. What was my next job? But yeah, I would have been jammed up if it wasn't for him. So like, I don't know. That's just one of those people I met that instantly became friends. Like I'll never forget Jan. When I found out a couple years later he'd passed away, it threw me. But just a really good dude. You know what I mean? And I miss him. You know. But just wanted to tell that story. Erica, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Super Chat Squad. Sorry it took me so long to get that. I was in the middle of a story. Said you're a cool guy, Tim. Keep doing you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And comments like that really do mean a lot to me because I'll be honest. Excuse me. Like 90% of it is love, but we're built as humans. We're like one negative thing can outweigh 9 positive things sometimes. So like sometimes someone will say something and you'll know it's not true, but you find yourself asking like, is that true? You know what I mean? So like when someone is kind enough to say, you're a cool guy, Kim, keep doing you, and then to like donate, show support, share the abundance, and they don't have to drop a little something in the Freedom Fund, and they don't have to behind that statement. That really means a lot. So thank you so much, Erica. I appreciate that support. I appreciate the kind words. I try to be, most of the people who met me in real life, didn't run away cussing me out. So thank you so much, Erica. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I got fired from Yellowstone. I was drinking at the time, and I had a little situation with another coworker down at the pub. I will admit I was out of pocket, but not as out of pocket as she made it seem. I never harmed her in any way. We just had like a yelling match. That wasn't the story that HR got. But she went in there with all her little friends, and all my friends had already gone home, so I didn't have anybody to back my story up. So they fired me. But they fired her later too. What up? Agent, how you doing? Good to see you. Trucking for Dough. I like that name. So Tim, thanks for positivity. Your sobriety videos gave me a lot of insight on gaining clarity out of the fog. Yes, that's awesome. That's awesome. That's awesome. Glad to hear that. Glad to hear that. Yeah, shout out to the homie Snacks, man. And to the homie Stamos. Yeah, Stamos ended up being my boy. And Snacks definitely my boy. Like, that's nephew. You had to clear a wasp nest, Leslie? Oh, that don't sound fun. Yeah, I do like that slogan. I'm so blessed I can't even fake it. I couldn't fake being this blessed. That's true. I'm not that good of an actor. I mean, Nelson, yeah, I'm definitely never saying any of this positivity, abundance, it all works out stuff is easy, especially in the beginning. I was thinking about this earlier. When you first start believing, in this positivity, abundance stuff, actually, let me take that back. When you first start delving into this stuff, I love to see the new people too, Mike. When you first start delving into this stuff, you obviously don't believe it because it hasn't been your reality up to this point. And I think that's where a lot of people kind of, lose it, is because like they'll hear someone talk about this positivity, this abundance, and they're like, well, that ain't the way the world works. But it doesn't become your reality until you start believing in it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like there is going to be that time period where it feels awkward. It feels weird. It might even feel a little disingenuous because up to this point, that hasn't been your reality. But the only way to get it to be a reality is to kind of start believing in it. And I think in the beginning, that's why I'll say sometimes I'm a naive, delusional dreamer. Stuff like that is to be like, hey, I didn't always believe this way. And when I first started, reading about and hearing about a lot of this stuff, there was still that disconnect. But I had to finally get to the point where I was like, I don't know if any of this stuff is true or not. I like how it sounds, and the people telling me I believe. So let me start trying to do some of this stuff. And it wasn't always easy. But then I noticed, and which is why I still talk about this stuff 10, 11, 12 years later, was that the more I engaged in it, the more I started believing in it, the more it started manifesting itself in my life and becoming true. So yeah, it's not always easy. It can be a challenge. Even when you believe this stuff, it's still challenging. But what's the alternative? To stop believing it? You know? That's even worse. Like if I'm believing in abundance and positivity and all that, and I still occasionally struggle in life, how do I think my life's gonna look if I stop believing in it? I think the reason I'm only occasionally struggling is because of the stuff I believe in, you know? Hey, Travis Connor, thank you, thank you, thank you. Let me put your like on that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Super Chat Squad, thank you so much for the generous donation. Thank you, Connor. Says always appreciate your viewpoint and insights, Tim. Stay blessed. Thank you. You too. I know you will. Hey, man, we all will. We all will. That's why I love the saying "stay blessed," is because it implies you're already blessed and you're going to continue being blessed. Two words, but have so much implication behind them, so much power behind them. Stay blessed. You're already blessed, and you're going to continue to be that way. Like that's powerful. That's why, like, I really love that, and that's why so many of my comments, I'm like, stay blessed. It's so powerful. And thank you so much, Travis. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. You stay blessed as well. I know you will. Let's go. Thank you. Blessings, He says, I like the out of pocket drink. Hey, man, I used to, like I said, when I used to drink, man, I used to drink, Mike. I used to, when I couldn't, I never was I never was a casual drinker. I was trying to get to it. Victor, I don't do favorites. So yeah, I'll never say, "Oh, this is my favorite state," but I do spend a lot of time in Colorado and Montana. If I didn't have Jan, I would have had to find somebody else with a car. Like that's the thing is like they're not obligated. And a lot of companies will tell you, we will bring you in when it's time to like come, and we'll give you a ride out when it's time to go. And even there's rides in and out occasionally to like go to town and stuff. But like if you get fired, they're under no obligation to give you a ride. So that's why I don't get fired. But you have to factor that in. Like if something happens, and like if I get fired or if I suddenly have to leave, you have to find a ride. Yeah, so that's why I was blessed to have Jan. Rita, how you doing? Memphis in the building. Let's go. Thank you, Nelson. Leslie, exactly. Like it's a practice. Positivity is a practice. It's like you have to actively like stop yourself from like going down the negative route. But I do it to myself all the time. Like I'll be about to go down the rabbit hole, and I'm like, wait a second, this ain't what we do. Like what? I'm like, what are you doing, Tim? But it's like, yeah, it's a practice. Like you have to. It's like going to the gym. Like you gotta, practice at it, work at it. Erica been listening to positive affirmations at the start of the day, and it works. Yep. Facts. Mike 01 Davis. That's so true. So true. You said once I saw the world is not my reality is when I started traveling. Even just going to Denver is not Atlanta. But when you stay in one place, you think the whole world is like your bubble. Exactly. That is one thing I love about travel is yeah, you get to go other places, and I'm always fascinated when I people watch in other places, other cities, other countries, because I'm like, I'm in someone else's reality now. Like this person lives full time in Austin, Texas, so Austin, Texas is their world, and it's totally different than if I'm in Portland or if I'm in, Estes Park, Colorado, or if I'm in Big Sky, Montana. You know what I mean? And exactly, like you start to see, it's like, oh, different people have different beliefs, even just based on where they live in the same country, or they have a different worldview, or they have different things they're worried about. And that, yeah, that allows you to be like, oh, some of the stuff that I think is scripture about life or people or other stuff is not. It's just gospel where I'm from. But it's totally different for other people. And then you like when you realize like, oh, people are living and going about their life and they got a totally different viewpoint than me. It allows you to see like it's okay to have different viewpoints. But like when you stay in the same place, kind of in your own bubble, everybody kind of low key looks at the world the same way. You think that's right. But yeah, you go somewhere else like, oh man, like I don't have to look at things a certain way. I can look at it however I want to because there's people around me looking at stuff totally different. Great point. Great point. Exactly. Agent, honestly, I think that's what karma is. What you put out, you get back. And I think a lot of times we differ on what we think is behind that. But at the end of the day, I think that's, what karma is what you put out, you get back. Hey, Rita, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Super Chat Squad, thank you, thank you. Y'all are being very generous today. Thank y'all so much. I appreciate that. Blessings, blessings. So blessings to you, much love. Thank you, Rita. I appreciate that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And blessings to you as well. Thank you. Super Chat Squad in the build. Freedom Funders, we are here. It's amazing, you put positive energy out there, you get positivity back. The more people try to come at you, the more the abundant. Like y'all have seen those are all like OGs in the community here in the channel in the chat. Y'all have seen this time and time again. Somebody will come in and they really trying to just like be a troll and say crazy stuff, and the abundance just keeps rolling in. It's like the harder they try to, the more the love shows. You know what I mean? It's crazy. I still think it's crazy. I see it all the time. I still think it's crazy. You know? Dude, hey, I'm telling you this stuff. You see, eventually, you be like, you know what? Some of that stuff that crazy Tim Ward guy saying makes sense. I don't know how he figured it out, but some of the, it's just the way the world is, the universe is set up. You do good, you get good. I don't know how. I didn't get a memo, an email, a blueprint. That's just the way it is. People want to refute it. I don't know why. No, I don't want to have to do good to get good. Like, bro, it's simple. That's what I'm saying. Hey, I block the trolls, but I block them with love. Because they be helping your boy out. Thank you. You know what, Hannibal? Create another account. Because I blocked one, you created another one. I had to block that one. Keep doing that. Please. Please. Because the more you hating, the more... I know you're still listening. Make 5 more accounts. Please. Keep making new accounts. And coming in and trying to come at your boy. Because it's helping me out. I'm fake laughing. I'm faking again. Faking. I just don't be mad at me. I didn't. Hey, see you later, Raz. Whatever a man shall show, that he'll reap. It's in all the holy books. It's in all the philosophy books. Pretty much everybody who's really got a bead on their life has said, yeah, well, eventually I realized it was kind of me messing my life up. And when I kind of, changed things and started, just trying to be a good person and do right by people, my life got better. All across the board, all, ages, nationalities, religions, financial situations. Like if you watch like biographies or interviews with people, especially people who maybe struggled, eventually they'll get to that point where they're like, yeah, man, I just had to stop doing XYZ, whatever it was. And, I just, want to take care of me and mine and like just do right by people. And my life got better. Or you see the interviews with the people who are still in the midst of the struggle and they fighting it. But, you know, you know. Yeah, Nelson, I have no problem blocking people. I've had discussions with other content creators and YouTubers, and they feel bad blocking people. People yell at me because they're like, freedom of speech. I'm like, you have the right to say whatever you want, just not on my channel. It's just like when you go to work, go in there and say whatever you want to say to your boss. See how quickly they block you from getting a paycheck because they're going to fire you. So it's like freedom of speech doesn't mean that you have the right to say whatever you want, whenever you want. Let me take that back. It doesn't mean you have the right to say whatever you want with no consequences. Yeah, you have the right to say whatever you want whenever you want, but there's consequences. Freedom of speech does not block you from the consequences. So on this channel, the consequences are when you come with that craziness, you get blocked. Because there's ways to say what some people say to get blocked for respectfully. Like the person we're talking about today could have said, hey, Tim, like, not coming at you, but I wonder, would you be happier with the wife and kids? Question. But to just be like, you're faking it, you should get away. I don't know. Anyway, wow, Geneva, thank you, Geneva DJ, thank you, Super Chat Squad. Wow, see what I'm talking about. Buddy, let me give you a like on that. Thank you. Said your messages are always positive and helpful. You do help many people. Thank you. And once again, a message like that, and just it is possible sometimes, especially being on the internet. It is possible sometimes to lose sight of the goal. I will admit that. And comments like that, especially when they're backed up with abundance, brings me back to like the goal is helping people. The goal is not views. The goal is not super chats. The goal is not subscribers. The goal is to help people. Now, the main goal. The main goal is helping people. The other goals can be goals, but to a lesser degree. But the main goal is like helping people. Because at the end of the day, you can't put a price on that. Like if I can sit over here and just talk for a couple hours and someone's genuinely touched to be like, you know what, I want to switch some stuff up, bro. Like that's insane. So it's good to be reminded of that, because it is easy sometimes to let the other metrics, especially if they're not, say you post a video and like it gets less views than you are expecting. It's easy to like see that video as a failure. But like if 5 people watch it and someone's like, man, that video really touched me, it's a success. Like that's the main point, So yeah, people are here for the positivity. I'm here for the positivity, the uplifting, and it is good to be reminded of that. So thank you so much, Geneva. Thank you. Super Chat Squad, we in the building. Let's go. Yeah, Rita, you know me. I got no problem blocking people. I think maybe once or twice I've gone in and unblocked somebody because I was like, maybe. Freedom of speech and the right to take the consequences. Facts. You right, listen. I do think, there is a lot of shaming in our current society. Like they make us feel ashamed about everything, like it's, I don't like it. And once again, that's why I'm trying to make content pretty regular about like, there's nothing wrong with you. Anything about yourself that you don't like about yourself, a lot of it we had no control over, or we didn't ask for it. And so like some of the stuff we can't change, And the stuff we can change, as long as we're in the process of like trying to change it, we're good. You know, you don't have to be ashamed. And this was one for me, like, you don't have to be ashamed about how you look. My whole life I've been ashamed about how I looked. Too skinny, too thin. You know, I felt inferior to other men. I still struggle with this one, feeling inferior. I see these big beefed up guys. I'm like, oh man, that's a real man right there. Women aren't gonna want me. Struggle with that my whole life. But it's like, Tim, like, you don't have to be ashamed of like being thin. Like, it's just a different type of body shape. And there's women who are more attracted to that. And even if they weren't, so what? You know what I mean? But like so many things, you don't have to be ashamed of like your background. You know what I mean? That what you didn't pick that. I don't think. You know, right before birth, you weren't like, oh, I want to be born in the slums. Ooh, ooh. You know, so like so many things society has taught us. Like society, especially in I think in the West, is so good about being like, if you aren't this, it's on you. Meanwhile, we have no say in most of the stuff. You know, society's good about like, hey, if some like on the one hand, society tells you you can't do it, but on the other hand, they tell you you should be doing it. And this is why so many people are just like, you know, chasing after their own things. Because we're desperately trying to check these boxes that society says we should check, but at the same time, society saying you could never check that box, but you should. You should be able to. You won't be able to, but you should. You know what I mean? And so like that's the ideal of like, if I'm not at a certain place or don't look a certain way or have certain things, I should be ashamed. While society is simultaneously like making it so you can't have those things, or like you had no control over. It's just crazy. Like you're fine. You know, I always like making videos. There's nothing wrong with you. Society always wants you to think there's something wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. And if there is, well, you're working on it. You know? Hey, Mike, yeah, man. You know, I appreciate the, you know, like I feel truly blessed to have over 200,000 subscribers, and you know, the generosity, as well as the, you know, the income generated from YouTube, things of that nature. But like, yeah, I never wanted to get to a place where like, and I see a lot of creators do this, and like, if that's why they do it, cool. But I see people almost like take advantage of the people who watch their content or consume their content because it is about the numbers, because it is about money. And I'm like, bro, like at the end of the day, without, you're biting the hand that's feeding you. You know what I mean? Because like without them, you wouldn't have none of this. So you're alienating them trying to get more of this. You're gonna end up having less, you know? Oh yeah, Center Man. Yeah, totally, totally. One bad comment can affect you 10 positive because we get used to the positive. And positive comments, like one of the reasons I try to like stop and like read comments is because we can get used to that, but then that one different one, you know, that's what everything. The one outlying thing always gets the most attention in life. Um, which as a content creator you can use that, because like if you can find something everybody's talking about and talking about in the same way, and then you talk about it but do it different, everyone's going to stop on that video. What, you know, anyway. But yeah, that's the way it always is, you know. The squeaky wheel gets the most oil or whatever it is, you know. It's the same with comments, like, and I try to not be like that, but I think it's just human nature. Yeah, yeah, definitely. All who wander are not lost. You're just wandering, and there's nothing wrong with wandering. You go, no, I agree, Agent. Yeah, a lot of shame comes from organized religion. Exactly. You're entitled to your opinion. I'm entitled to disagree. It's not better in the East. Oh, okay, okay. If I am level headed, I'll say that I spend a lot of time dwelling on this type of stuff. And I think you spend enough time in a space, it kind of becomes Like a lot of this stuff now is like my default setting. Like I said, if I find myself getting too out there with like negativity or any of that type stuff, and it's weird to talk about this because it's almost like there's two, like consciously sometimes I get a little negative. And then like the subconscious me will be like, what are we doing? Like there's another part of me that stops me just naturally now. And just like, Tim, like, what do you do? Like, this is not, we way too blessed to be like, what are you talking about? Come on now, you know what I mean? So it's like, it's cool that like you put in enough work, it almost becomes, or it does become who you are. And when you really believe like this is how life is, and like this is what works best for me, and if I don't engage in all this negativity and all this gossip and watching the news and all this doom and gloom, my life will be better. Well, then you just stay in that pocket because like that's the pocket that works for you. And it's easy to stay there because like, anytime I go outside of that, I'm not happier. You know what I mean? Journey checking in from Germany. How you doing? Journey from Germany. So it's like it gets it. The longer you stay in that pocket, the more you want to stay in that pocket, and the easier it is to stay in that pocket. If that makes any sense. Oh, Queen, you like a normal belly? Okay, no six pack. All right. And Geneva, yes, yes, yes. I appreciate you saying that. Yeah, I'll sit on here and talk and make videos and all that. It's not, if it's no abundance of that financial variety. Cool, because you know what I mean. Because I'm still getting rewarded. I enjoy sitting on here and talking and like I said, when this is over, I'm just gonna be sitting in this room by myself. So I love the ability to like get on here and we talk and discuss things and we laugh and joke. Like I love that. So like if that comes with some abundance, cool. Thank y'all. If it doesn't, cool. Thank y'all. You know what I mean? Like uh, you know. What am I reading these days? I feel like I had a book. Is this book? Hold on. I think I can move this book. This is the last book I read. Dave Barry, what is that? The Memoirs of a Professional Wise Ass Class Clown. This is the last book I read. And it's a humor book. It's kind of an autobiography, memoirs, humor book, but that's the last book I read. And I've talked about this book for many years. I just picked up another copy of it because now that I'm not working, like I meditated this morning, by the way. Some of y'all might know that, y'all saw my short, but I meditated this morning. I say that to say I'm getting back into my bag. When I'm meditating, when I'm walking, when I'm reading, when I'm journaling, that's when my life is there. And this book, every time I read this book, something crazy in a positive way happens to me financially. But this book is not just about money. It's called A Happy Pocket Full of Money by David Jacandi. It's not just about money. Like I'll tell y'all, when I was looking at this book on Amazon, see if I can find it. And you know how Amazon will show you like a snippet of the book? And so I saw it was called Happy Pocket Full of Money. I was like, I don't know if I want a book just about getting money. You know what I mean? Chai Together, how you doing? Good to see you. I was like, I don't know if I want a book just about money. So like I was like, let me read the snippet. It says the first step to having wealth is to know what it is. This was a snippet on Amazon. It's the beginning of chapter 1. It says the first step to having wealth is to know what it is. And few people know what it really is in and of itself. What is wealth? What causes it? What causes the cause of it? Let us start with money, the world's symbol of wealth, and then move deeper. And this is the part that got me. Money is not real. Money is merely legal tender, a form of exchange. We use it to exchange value. It represents value. Like in a book called The Happy Pocket Full of Money, within the first paragraph, it's like money's not real. I'm like, bet. That's what got me to buy it. Because I thought it was just going to be one of those books where it's just like praise money, which is, like I said, I'm not negative against money anymore. But I was like, I didn't want a book that was totally about just get as much money as possible. No, I was like, this book is like, he's like, hey, we're going to talk about money. First off, money not even real. And I was like, man, I'm getting that book. And one of the best books, I've ever bought and read. I've bought it many times. I've given it away to people many times. Here's another thing I like about this book. Every so often, you see that? It says, I am wealth, I am abundance, I am joy. And that is throughout the whole book. So as you're reading it, you're reading that same affirmation over and over again. Watch this. I'm gonna flip to another random page. I'm wealth, I'm abundance, I'm joy. Throughout the whole book, it's got that written every so often. And so and I make myself read that as I read. You get to a point where like you kind of want to skip over it sometimes. I make myself read that as I'm reading the book, and it's a very powerful affirmation. I'm wealth, I'm abundance, I'm joy. And I think that's why like every time I read this book, something of a wealth nature positive happens to me. So I'm gonna start reading that again. I gotta see if I gotta plug my phone in. Hang on one second, ladies and gentlemen. I gotta find the. Oh, of course I'm gonna wait till my phone yells at me and then I gotta plug it in. Can I taste the difference between Dr. Pepper, and Mr. Pibb? Oh, totally, 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 totally. Dr. Pepper's better. Yeah, yeah. I don't think I've read. I think I started to read The Alchemist, but didn't finish. Yeah, Nelson, we've been live streaming for a while. I love streaming like this. I used to sit in the car and do 5, 6 hour live streams. They'll tell you. And as soon as I get a good phone signal again, we're going to get back to doing that. I love doing this. Excuse me, I'm burping because I'm drinking this soda. Oh, Earthy, you read that? Nice, nice. What'd you think about it? Curious. Erica, I went out and got some yogurt, some of that Greek yogurt, which put me fast asleep. And I got some activated charcoal, so I'm doing better. I'm doing better. Thank y'all. Thank y'all for the recommendations. Lee Smith, what up? You in Kalispell? Okay, okay. You heading to Vegas, like Las Vegas? Okay, okay. Yeah, Kalispell's a vibe. I've been there once. Vegas definitely a vibe. Have fun, man. Be safe. Be safe in Vegas. Lee, listen to me. Be safe. Be safe in Vegas. Yeah, I'm messing with you. You know I love you, brother. I'm messing with you. Have fun. The name of the book, once again, is A Happy Pocket Full of Money. I'll probably do a short on it today or tomorrow, and put it in there. Yeah, the stream kept going, so yeah, man. Boil water with oregano. Okay. Oh, Lee, how was the train, Lee? How was the train? Candace, you still reading fantasy romance novels? Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Like, I feel like you gotta have your fantasy stuff. I sit and watch people play video games for hours at a time. That's what I'm gonna do this afternoon when I'm done here. I do need to film a couple shorts, but like I'm probably just gonna sit and watch people play video games. Like I think you gotta have some, and probably watch some WNBA games. But you gotta have you know your pleasures. Exactly, chai together. You got to like we're not a computer that needs an outside source to program us. Like we can program our own minds, and once you realize that, yeah, it's powerful. Thank you, Chai. Hope you have a good weekend and a good night as well. And thank you for the kind words. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, Earthy said the book spoke about spending well and giving. I think I gave away my copy too. Yeah, I'm big on if I like a book, I'll give a copy away, and then later I might pick it back up again. Like there's the other book, which actually I have a copy of it right here, but it's holding my camera up, my phone up, so I can't show it to y'all. But the Dynamic Laws of Prosperity, another book I've read many times. But yeah, I find books I like that work for me, and then I just kind of keep reading them throughout the years. I'm a simple man. You've never been to Vegas before? Lee, you keep spelling Vegas wrong, by the way. You never been to Vegas before? Okay, I'm glad you're going. Have fun. Within reason, though. Within reason, though. You know? I know they call it Sin City. Y'all know me, I don't believe in sin. So if you go down there and you want to engage in some of them activities that people engage in Vegas, just do it within reason. Don't get down there wilding. Don't spend all your savings from the season. Look, if you go down there, if you go to Vegas and blow all your savings for the season, I would be so mad at you. I'm gonna laugh, but I'm. Lee, don't get down there. Don't get down there. Spend all your savings. Worked hard all summer, blow it in Vegas, and definitely share. Definitely share. What happens in Vegas never stays in Vegas. That's how Vegas got its reputation, because everybody shares. I don't really share what I do in Vegas. I don't do. I share, but it's like I don't do nothing. The first time I went to Vegas, I had like a Vegas story. You know, me and my boy, Kurt went down there. We had a little, we had some fun. Met a couple. Yeah. That was the only time I really had like a Vegas story, because I went with somebody. So when it's a lot easier to, like, I feel like, have a situation in Vegas if there's two of y'all, two of them. What y'all doing? Bah, 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 When I go by myself, I just walk around. Like, but like I go to like, every time I'm in Vegas, I got to go to the Bellagio and see the fountain. You know what I mean? Fremont Street. Like I go to Vegas to do the same stuff over and over again. And like I was a couple years ago, I was in Vegas for 2-3 months, and like I think I went to the Strip twice. But yeah, when I go to Vegas, like the Strip and stuff, I don't really do much, But even if you do, feel free to share the stories. Hey, AJ, glad to hear that. Glad to hear that. You feel like a new person. Glad to hear that. Journey said, Tim, you got me to Stoicism, so thank you. You're welcome. Is it difficult for you to use the Stoic lessons in everyday life? I often find myself trying too hard to live the Stoic way, but often fall off and try again. I'll be honest with you, Journey. I think a lot of the stuff I learned about Stoicism is just a part of me. A lot of I've taken stuff from different philosophies I've looked into. And so like I don't think I ever really be like, I need to live like a Stoic. I think it's just in there. It's just like being a minimalist. I never really been like, oh, is this being a minimalist? Like I just kind of do what I do. And since I've, discovered minimalism so long ago, it's kind of just like a part of me. So I don't think I'm ever really just like, oh, am I being, in line with minimalistic principles, or like, am I living like a Stoic today? I just think a lot of that stuff is just naturally in me. So, the idea of like only worrying about things I can control. I think that's just naturally something I default to. Angela, how you doing? Good to see you. Though I will admit, yes, there's times where I do find myself not being myself, and I have to like bring myself back in, and get back to the principles. I think that's just true with any of us, because of the world we live in, and some of the things we can go through. It's almost like different things we go through in different situations, we have to low key like relearn some stuff. Because like, it might be easy for me to live this way in this environment, but if I change environments or something new happens to me, I kind of have to relearn it. It's like life is constantly making you like relearn lessons. But the more the things you know and believe are ingrained in you, like the easier it is to like relearn it in different situations. So I find myself, sometimes having to be like, okay, I gotta put that to practice here. But it's less individual philosophies and more just like my overall way I view the world, getting that in line with whatever I'm going through. You don't do too much in Vegas either, Rita? Yeah, sometimes you gotta chill. What up, buddy? Haven't found your talent/gift. Feel like every day is the same, just going through the motions. I'm sorry to hear that, buddy. Sorry to hear that. And the only advice I would have on that, I know is going to sound very cliche, but I think it is the only advice in that situation is to keep looking. I say this, and this is a little different than other people. I always say, think about when you were a kid, what you thought you were going to do, or think about the things you enjoy doing as a kid, and go back to some of that stuff. Because I think sometimes that's the stuff we're really into, and don't think any of it's too childish or, oh, that was back then. Revisit some of that stuff. Go back, dig deep into some of that nostalgia, and maybe within that you'll find, you know, something. And here's the thing too. Are you happy? And I ask that to say, I don't think we always have to find a talent or find a gift. I think we just have to find things to do that make us happy, you know. And so, sometimes, and within that, I think sometimes we find something we like, and then maybe we like it enough that we become talented at it if we do it enough. But I don't think we always like. Sometimes I think society tells us too much. You got to find your gift. You got, like, what do you like to do? What do you enjoy doing? Maybe let's do a little more of that. See what happens. Sometimes I think there's just too much pressure on us, you know. But also too, like if every day is just feeling like the same, it's easy to switch something, do something different. Now sometimes it's hard to be like, what's the different thing I want to do? Sometimes just pick something crazy and go do it. You know what I mean? You know. But I totally understand the feeling of that kind of overall boredom and like malaise of just like every day feels like the same day. Um, and I think sometimes we just have to like switch something up, you know. Even if it seems crazy, even if it's like this may not really do anything, so we just have to do something to break that monotony, I feel like. There was something I was looking forward to. I was trying to get back to. Oh, oh, I see what you're saying, Journey. Yeah, yeah. Something you to feel like you have the right people in your circle. Um, the good news is when those right people do come into your circle, like you know what I mean. Like that's sometimes like some of that is out of your control. So you're just like, hey, when I get some of the right people in my circle, obviously, like I'll be able to like I won't struggle with this aspect of stoicism more. But it's just a matter of waiting until the right people come, which is outside of your control. A lot of it. Moose man, how you doing? Oh, you been out of town, Angela? Okay, okay, okay. Making your rounds with the family and friends. Okay, nice, nice. Enjoy your time off. MH waiting for the girlfriend to join you before you pass out. Okay, okay. Kalispell's expensive. You know how Montana gets, man. You got it, Lee. You got it. Yeah, that rut feeling, is yeah. It's probably one of the worst feelings of life, man. Like not even being dramatic, when it's just like I just wanted something to do. You know what I mean? But like when that kind of I know sometimes I'll get that feeling, and it's like Tim, well, just go find something to do. It don't matter how it turns out. Find something, not nothing crazy, but like not nothing crazy, crazy. But sometimes you got to do something crazy. If that makes sense. Moose been hanging in there, been doing lots of car repairs and shops, making mistakes with no accountability. Oh, shops making mistakes. Oh, sorry to hear that. Hopefully you get the car fixed up soon. There was something I was gonna read. Like I'll be the comments will be going, and I'll see something, and I'll get excited to read it, and then I'll get to talking, and then I can't find the comment. I'm like, what was I going to talk about? Where was I at? Maybe I got excited because Angela came through. Okay. No, that wasn't it. I'm just Angela. I'm messing with you. I'm messing with you. I love it. I love it. People. Oh, I know what I was going to talk about. Having to block somebody again. People. I've been doing this too long. Anytime you're out there making fake accounts and trying to come back in the chat, I'm going to know it's you. It doesn't like this is what people understand. The way you write gives you away. It doesn't matter if you come back in under a different name. You're still being a troll, and like you're gonna write the same. Like you just write the way you naturally like you. There's a rhythm to it. I'm gonna know it's you. But like I said earlier, keep coming back because the more you hate, the more the love pops up. But like, bro, I've been doing this too long. I've been sitting in front of these cameras for over a decade, bro. You can't. I know it's you. Moose man, been looking for a lady friend, but no luck. Kind of sucks. I feel like once again that's one of those areas, and it definitely does suck. I'm not. Most people will be like, just do this, just do that. I get it. It sucks. Like if you trying to meet somebody, you can't. It sucks. But like I feel like it's one of those things that like we don't totally have control over. When it's time to, it's time to. I don't know. Yeah, I don't. Erica, I've tried to watch anime, and I wish I could get into anime, but I just can't. And good luck to you, Moose man, finding a lady friend. Yeah, Lee, this smoke is crazy in Montana right now. It's probably worse up in Kalispell because you're further north. So yeah, it's crazy. Rita, yeah, that dog was something serious, man. But we made it through. We made it through. Listen, yeah, I think so. Leslie, I'm with you. Like I don't care enough to go and make new accounts just to come back in somebody's stream and talk trash. But as I was saying earlier, I try to be empathetic of like obviously something's going on in that person's life to where like something's prompting them to do that. And part of it is they just love me that much. you know, like some people, and I said that part joking, but this part I'm being serious. Sometimes we can be going through things in life or had things happen in our past to even where we might come across somebody's content and appreciate it, we can't engage with that person the way other people might just because of the things we've been through. So sometimes I've found this out on the internet, and I know this can't just be me. Sometimes the people who appreciate me the most and like me and my content the most are the trolls. Like that person really rocks with you, but for whatever reason, their rocking with you manifests itself in crazy comments. And I found this out. There's a lot of people who are like borderline. It's like they stay around the channel, and half the time they're cool, and the other half the time they be saying crazy stuff. And people like that, I usually time out. But I'm like, why does this person stick around if they always coming at me crazy? And that's when I realized I'm like, oh, that person probably rocks with you, Tim, more than other people. But for some reason, that's just the way they engage. And it's like, oh, well, in that case, I hope, by sticking around the channel, they come across something that maybe helps with that, you know? Now, there are some people who just start out trolling and they got to be blocked. But like, I honestly think that some people, that's their way of saying, hey, I like your channel. But for some reason, they can't just say, hey, I like your channel. They got to be like, you got a big nose and you're stupid. And then when you block them, they have to come back with another channel and be like, you've got to. I love them. I love them. I love everybody. Yeah, people, we do what we do. Yeah, I used to be the live stream king. Honestly, like so many people stream now that I probably lost the title. But back in the day, y'all know I was streaming when when there was no such thing as streamers. Back when I was streaming, like y'all know this, 5, 6 years ago, nobody was streaming like that. Now everybody's streaming. I said this is gonna happen. Prado, how you doing? Phil, how you doing? Yeah, better late than never. Robert, I do remember you. Yes, I do remember you. Yeah. Am I more afraid of being bit by a dog or a human? Non-consensually? A dog. Yeah, I definitely think when it comes to, and I'm no expert on this because I stay single, but like I think some of it is in our control, and I think some of it's not. You know, and I always am encouraging Philly Dom, the OG. What up, Philly Dom? Good to see you. Good to see in Singapore. Okay, okay, Philly Dom, the OG. It's good to see you, man. Good to see you. Appreciate you coming through, checking in. Singapore, I like that. I like that. I got to start doing some more international travel, man. It's good to see you, Philly. Um, what was I saying? Oh, I'm always gonna be encouraging when it comes to like, hey, if you really want to meet somebody, as with everything in life, I think when it's time to, it's time to. I think sometimes we're too. We were talking about this earlier. I think we've been taught that like our advice whenever someone's struggling with something is to say they're not doing enough. You'll notice this. And people mean well, but a lot of times the first thing we do is try to tell that person what else they can be doing. And sometimes it ain't on them. You know what I mean? It don't like if she ain't showing up, she ain't showing up. And yeah, and I think a lot of it's like 50-50. I could be doing more, but then also the universe is doing what it's doing in its timing. So like I just noticed like a lot of times we're always telling a person what they can do. Have you tried this? Have you tried that? Sometimes you just gotta wait. Sometimes that stuff works, but sometimes like what I mean. Sometimes it just ain't time yet. And I think the hard part is knowing, what I mean. You like when will it be time? Should I be doing more or should I wait? I say do what you do what you feel like is enough work, and like if you beating your head against the wall and you out there pounding them streets and you still ain't met nobody, maybe it's time to just chill out for a while. You know what I mean? I don't know. I just noticed that like we're always telling people basically like you're just not doing enough. Sometimes people I know people who really put in the work to meet somebody. They just ain't met nobody. You know, just my thoughts. What do I know? I'm always single. Facts, agent. Just put yourself out there. What does that even mean, bro? Exactly, Lee. Rocking them Skechers. I need to go down there and get me a new pair of Skechers. Now that I got my last paycheck, I need to go down to the famous footwear and get me a pair of Skechers. I got a guy down there, my Skechers guy. I go in there. He hooks me up on all the Skechers news. Gotta go see my guy. And Journey, I think, let me read your comment. It says, I often feel weird giving advice to people about life because I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm lost, but remain resilient. But everywhere I travel, people look to me for advice because of my mindset. I think you are absolutely the best person to, when you feel comfortable, give advice because you feel uncomfortable giving it. I think the people who feel very comfortable giving advice probably are the people who shouldn't be giving it. Right? The people are always just like, always got to, before you even get the sentence out your mouth, they're giving you advice. Those are the people, but the people who, I'm telling you, I've noticed this in my life. The people who kind of hang back and every now and then they're like, hey, Tim, like, I'm not telling you what to do. Dudes older than me, people in my life, my OGs, or dudes I just like, there's been some older guys I worked with in the past. And I might have had a situation, me, I'm loud. So I tell my business. Yeah, I talk a lot. So we be in line at the time clock. I'm telling all my little business. That's me. And you might have, one of the guys from work, older guy, they might come and say, hey, Tim, I'm not trying to tell you how you live your life, do what you do. If I can give you one little piece of advice, bop, bop, bop. Those are the dudes I learned to listen to. The people who are just like, hey, man, I found for me that boom, boom, boom. And then they shut up. The people who always at the in the break room telling everybody what to do, blah, blah, them people I learned like, bro, I ain't trying to deal with them, you know, because the people who know, and this is why I try to be like, hey, in my opinion, like I feel like you said, Journey, like the people who know that like none of us know what we doing. We just know, hey, certain things work for me, so I'm gonna talk about it. If people want to listen, If someone asks me, I might tell them, but at the end of the day, what do I know? So I think like you're the best type of person to give advice. If you see a situation where you're like, hey, I don't know much, but I was in a similar situation. Let me tell you what worked for me. Use it if you want to. I'm gonna throw this in your general direction. Catch it if you want to. I feel like I've been putting out a variation of that message a lot recently. Alabama in the building. What up, Bernita? How you doing? Now that I'm making that big social media money, I'll be honest with you, Jed. Just full transparency, and we're blessed. So blessed. Uh, the social media, and anyone will tell you this. Any creator will tell you this. The social media money was so much bigger 4 or 5 years ago. You know what I mean? The social media money was so much bigger 4 or 5 years ago. Um, but as always, YouTube has allowed me to take time off, travel, and it continues to do that. So we're in no way complaining. But that's it's funny when people are like, I mean, you see how many creators of the big, really big creators have fallen off, started going back to work. So yeah, the social media buddy 5 6 years ago was a lot bigger than it is now, but we still blessed, man. And I always tell people, whether it be making money on YouTube or this last job I had was outside of the North Dakota oil rigs was the most I've ever made at work. Shout out to my sister Abby for getting me a position and getting me that bag. Um, but like nothing, y'all know me. Like I always say, the more like I'm just gonna do the same things, maybe more expensively. When I'm up more, I travel. I buy my little sports cards. I eat good. That's just I do the same things no matter where my money level's at. So yeah. 5 years strong journey. Yes, yes. Yeah, hey, I appreciate you saying that. That's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, we gonna keep grinding. Good night, man. Thank you. Yeah, Senator, man, the shorts did change the game. And I used to be really against shorts, but now I love them. Because once again, this goes back to what I was saying earlier. Shorts pay like almost nothing, but I think I appreciate them because it allows you to get your message out there more. And sometimes they're just something you want to turn, the camera on, say something real quick, boom. Um, where if you did that in the past, no one would see it. Now, because of shorts, people might see it. So I do appreciate shorts. Tyrone, yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I went to it's been, I think it was 2011. I worked on the oil rig, so it's been some years. And I would have no clue what it's like these days, but back then it was, I think it was like $2,800 a week we were making or something like that. Um, all said and done. So yeah, it was good money. Yeah, TikTok's a competitor too. Yeah, and that's one thing you learn in life in general, in business. Nothing stays the same, and definitely on the internet and content creation, nothing stays the same. And so, like, um, that's one point of pride I have is that like I've been able to kind of stay around for over a decade. People still tune in, and I firmly believe I can do it for another decade. But you do have to pivot and be resilient. You know, you get comfortable like, oh, this is the formula, and they switch that formula up. What? But it's kind of hard to complain when I think content creation is one of the most amazing things in the world. So I enjoy doing it. It's brought me so much, love and joy and happiness and friends. It's hard to complain. Oh, the algorithm changed. My views are down. Oh, like, bro, stop. Mooseman been here since 2019. Let's go. Yeah, Centered Man. I think a lot of big YouTubers you like a lot of them got big and they hired teams and like so now they had salaries to cover, and then when there's a dip, it hurts more than someone like me who like, I can just go back to work, like, or I'm already working. So I might be like, oh, okay, that's there's a dip, but it doesn't really affect me. But like when that's your whole business, and like I said, you got 5 or 6 people working for you, and now you can't pay 4 of them, you know, and then if they have to leave, you can't run the business the way you were. So like, yeah, I think it hit a lot of the big YouTubers worse than anyone else, just because like, I mean, just imagine if at your job, one day they walked in and was like, oh, we're gonna pay you 30% less now. You know, how many people could handle that? So a lot of times when it's on the internet, not saying you were, but a lot of times when it's on the internet, people will be like, oh, like but it's like I get it. Someone like me, yeah, I'm like I can't complain, but like yeah, if it's not a business to me. If it's an actual business for you and it's how you feed your family and other people, yeah, you get a 30-40% drop in income out of nowhere. That's hard to come back from a lot of times. Miss Priya, thank you. Super Chat Squad, thank you so much. Let me give you a like on that. Says so many vids portray everyone going broke, unemployed. I agree. And I'm glad you brought that up. This summer, I was working up by the ski resorts, and which ski resorts are last summer. Ski resorts are amazing in the summer. I like them better in the summer than the winter. But one of the things I like about working in like ski resorty areas is you come in contact with a lot of high value like high value. What is the word I like to use? You come in contact with a lot of rich people. There's another phrase I like to use. I'm drawing a blank now. And being around them allows me to see everybody ain't broke. And I appreciate that. Because yeah, if you just look at the news and watch the videos, and yes, there are people sadly having financial difficulties now. But I think it's good, especially if you want to keep like a abundance mindset and not have a scarcity mindset, to understand that that's not true across the board. Some people are doing very well, doing even better now than they ever have. And these aren't some of these like, and you get to meet some of these people, and they're decent people. Like when I used to be like a housekeeper, back when I worked in Big Sky in the past, and it'd be, I had my own floor. I was the only housekeeper up there, and so people would come and stay for a week or two, a week or so, and you get to know them. And some of these people are good people, and if they really got to know you, they might tell you what they do. So, oh, I'm a dentist. I have a practice in California. Oh, my husband owns a couple car dealerships. These weren't scummy, corporate-y, a lot of it. They were just decent people, and they happened to have like found a way to make some good money. And I think it's always been good for me to see that, because it allows me to be a bit more grounded, I think, when it comes to like finances, and realize like, yes, it is possible, for you to I don't like saying broke, but we'll use these words. It's just as possible to be broke as it is to be rich. They're both possible. And I appreciate seeing that, because it keeps me from just getting caught up in the like, oh, woe is me, I'm gonna get unemployed, go broke. Like I made myself unemployed. So anyway, but speaking of love, speaking of abundance, let's go. Is it Harjus CD? I probably butchered that. I'm so sorry. Harjus, how you doing? Thank you. Super Chat Squad, that's love. Said Tim, 55-year-old. Is that Montana dude here? Trying to find my purpose after having sacrificed my life. To give my wife and kids a great upper middle class life. Kids are grown and gone. What's my purpose now? Hold on. I'm not going anywhere. I just got to plug my phone in, because I got to answer this one. Oh. Sorry. Hopefully that's not a crazy view. I think I'm plugged in now. I think we're. Oh, hang on 1 second, folks. I gotta. Oh, dang it. I'm about to totally mess up. I was trying to move my. Hang on. So I have this on the back of my phone to charge it, but I got to put it on there the right way. Okay, cool. All right. Okay, sorry about that. Almost ended the stream. Let me read your comment again because now Tim got everybody nauseous and we've forgotten. 55-year-old dude here trying to find my purpose after having sacrificed my life to give my wife and kids a great upper middle class life. First off, shout out to you for doing that. Kids are grown and gone. What's my purpose now? I see this a lot, and I hear this from friends I have. Similar situations where they get to an age and it's like, I spent my whole life doing for other people. Now what? And it's weird because it's like, hey, finally at that age was like, oh man, I can do for me, but it's like, what am I supposed to do? You know, um, and I totally get it, and like I know some people would be like, that's amazing, that's a great place to be, and it is, but I also totally understand where you're just like, well, honestly, I don't really like what am I supposed to do. I got 30 years into doing this. And I think it is not one of those things that like you just wake up one day and suddenly like I said, you've got 30 years of conditioning of like, this is who I am, this is what I do. And I think it takes some time to kind of rewire that. I would say I don't like the what is my purpose thing. Like that's why I rarely ever talk about purpose in life. Because I think that's heavy, you know? That's a hard like people live their whole life trying to figure out their purpose. So I think if we go into it being like, what is my purpose now? That's heavy. Um, I think a lighter question is like, what are some of the things maybe I always want to do that I couldn't do that I can do now? You know? And even I would say even if some of them don't seem totally thrilling, try them. What are some of the things when I was young and back in college that I said I was going to do that I've never been able to do because I was, taking care of wife and kids? Let me try some things. Let me do some things. I'm not saying this is what I'm going to do forever. I'm not saying this is my purpose now. Let me just find some things that maybe I never was able to do and let me try a couple. Because I think a lot of times we can't see where we're going to end up. Like there might be there might be a new purpose for you. I think there definitely is something new for you, but we can't see it from where we're at. And I think sometimes we just have to take the next step or take some type of step and just trust the process to eventually get us there. But like from where we're at now, we can't see it because we're over here. And so a lot of times we'll be over here and we're trying to figure out over here. But like you can't get from here to here without some stuff in between. And so I think we just have to find some stuff in between. And I think life, God, the universe, a lot of times will guide us, especially if we're like doing this stuff for the right reason. I'm just trying to enjoy my life. I'm trying to find some type of, meaningful fulfillment in my life now. That's the right reason. And I think if we take steps, all right, like, hey, for some reason, something's saying do this. Okay, I'm gonna do that. For some reason, something's telling me to do this. Okay, I'm gonna do that. I think those steps are the steps that like might eventually lead us one day to, stumbling across a new friend, a new relationship, a new job, a new hobby, just something meaningful. I know that's been the case in my life where I find myself in a situation where I'm like, what am I doing now? Like what? I just do the next thing. I don't think this gonna make much of a difference, but I've always wanted to do this, so I'm gonna try this. And I found that on the back of that was something else, and then one day I woke up and I'm like, oh, I found something now. So that would be my advice in that situation. Hope that was helpful. And thank you again for the abundance. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Sorry for moving the camera all around crazy. Traveling in the deep south by car. I don't think I've ever road tripped down south. South, not southeast. I did the southwest, but yeah, I've never road tripped by car in the southeast. Hey, Sinner, that's you all good, man. It's a thought that counts. I genuinely mean that. I'm a firm believer in in abundance comes in many ways, and sometimes the abundance we might want to send in a certain way, the energy of wanting to send that might be picked up by someone else, and they send it in that manner. You know what I mean? Yeah, we fine. You're good. You're good. Lady said, yeah, I would try to tap into what I might enjoy. Yeah, and you know what's funny? We're not trained throughout life to think that way. In fact, for a lot of times we think that's selfish, especially like if we spent so many years looking out for other people, you just start to naturally do it that way. So when it's like all you, sometimes we're a little hesitant. Seems crazy, but like I've noticed with people, it's like, man, like I spent my entire life like raising my kids, taking care of people, maybe they took care of parents. Like when it's just them, they like, I don't like that feels weird. Like I need someone else to do it for. And it's like, yeah, it's probably gonna feel weird in the beginning, but like you don't. Like it's your time, you know? Do use. It's just I'm fascinated by just, programming and how the places we end up at because of things we've gone through in our life. And this I'm all of us, and then it's like some things that outside looking in seem like they're obviously like our best interests. It's hard for us to do just because like we've been programmed differently, It's kind of crazy. DYB, what up? Leslie, you doing that with dance now? Nice, nice. Hey, Hargis, thank you. I'm glad you found that a little helpful. Thank you for the kind words about the channel. Yeah, man. And now that we're back, free, not working for a while, definitely want to start doubling down on the content, and really getting back to some of that unusual approach. You know what I mean? Yeah, yeah. Happy Saturday, Rick. Um, yeah, I had a coffee this morning. You found a new passion, co-ed league volleyball. Okay, okay. Lots of fun, lots of babes. Now we're getting to the meat of the matter. The meat of the matter. Stop. Hey, you know what I mean? So, do you actually get out there and play volleyball, or you just watch volleyball? You coach co-ed volleyball? What are we doing? What are we doing? You the creepy person just watching and throwing the ball back in occasionally? So Angela's like, careful, Tim, you about to get blocked. I discovered the women's professional baseball league today on YouTube. Um, so I got to be honest, I watched a little of it, and they may have to cook for a few years. I don't know if they're ready. It seemed a little janky, but anyway. Oh, Rick, you're playing and rapping. Okay, okay, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. I'm messing with you. I'm messing with you with the other stuff. I know. Get out there, play a little co-ed volleyball, a little rapping. Okay, okay. What? I would love to, like, if I knew more about basketball, I think I would love to like coach, um, like kids basketball. If I knew more about it, I'm I think sports are so good for kids, and I would love to be involved in that some way, especially like girls. Because women's sports is my thing. So like, I totally would. I mean, I wouldn't mind coaching any kids, but like, being like a coach or an assistant coach to a girls basketball team, I feel like that would be amazing. I talked about that with one of my friends one time, so maybe in the future, you know. Hey, see you later, agent. Have a great weekend. Thank you. Maybe a good way to give back to the churn is to coach sports. You know, and does that time y'all verbally? My you I don't. Can you time out the? What if you could? What if you were a moderator and you could time out the streamer? That would be crazy. It was like a little glitch. Uh, I'm like, what happened to my stream, Angela? Like, I told you, clean it up. Clean it up. That would be funny. That would be a funny glitch. That would be horrible. Because yeah, trolls will get a hold of that. Oh, you gonna block me? I'll be nice, get modded up, and then, you know, which we only had one troll. We only had one troll who came back with 3 different channels. Which, hey, bro, you gotta admire the persistence. I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it. You gotta admire the persistence. You know, that person has found their purpose. What? That was, that was, oh man, I get a lot of joy. I get a lot of joy out of things that I think most people don't get joy out of. But you know, I don't. You know, it's a job for real. They've got to be getting something out of it. Some people, that's all they do. You know. You know, hey, when you can get joy, ladies and gentlemen, out of the stuff in life that doesn't bring other people joy, I don't know. You know, if I was timed out, I'd just look at y'all without saying anything for 10 minutes. I just hold up a paper. It's like blame Angela. Um, 9 minutes left. That's my pen clicking, by the way. Try to see whether anything. Oh, I do want to show you all this. This is not a real card. It's a custom card. So somebody just printed it. It's not a real card, but bro, the point. Sophie cut. Literally, like this is the only card I keep on my desk. Bro, look, this just makes me happy. See, this just makes me happy. It's not even a real card. Like it's not even cardboard. It's paper. Somebody just printed. Now I had to pay real card prices for it because it was the first time I ordered from the seller. I didn't know it was paper, but I knew it was a custom card. I knew they made it, but I thought it was cardboard. But this just makes me happy. Real OGs on the channel know I was talking about Sophie Cunningham before anybody knew who she was. They'll tell you I was talking about Sophie Cunningham, but it used to be on my goals list to get a signed Sophie Cunningham jersey, and I'm still gonna get one. But before anyone knew who she was, I was talking about her. Now she's one of the most popular. She was one of the top 100 Google searches last year or something. Like, y'all gonna start listening to me? I'll give y'all another one. I'll give y'all this one free of charge. Montana Fouts. She's a softball pitcher, professional softball pitcher. I'm gonna give y'all this one. Montana Fouts. Y'all don't have to listen. But 3 years from now, I'm like, remember when I was talking about Montana Fouts? Y'all won't acknowledge it. Y'all won't, you know. But I'm giving y'all a free one. I know star power when I see it. Anyway, is the Earth round or flat? Honestly, DYB, I've never been out in space to look back at the Earth, so I don't have a clue. I'm more fascinated by the fact that people care. You know, if it came out tomorrow that the Earth was whatever, what would it change? You know? So like that's why it's not really a thing I care about, because like I still got to pay my car insurance and my car note. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't. The Earth is actually a psyop. Like it doesn't change anything. So like if that's your thing, cool. You know, I'm sure I got stuff I worry about that y'all don't care about. You know, but yeah, it's funny to me like the people who like that's their thing, and then they always want to like talk to other people, like are not saying you, but some people want to argue about it, and I'm like, sis, I don't care, bro. Like I don't care. So I don't know. Jojo, what up? What up? What up? Your name's Word as well. Nice, nice. It changes the dynamic of how people think. Okay, I give you that. I give you that. And once again, like if that's your thing, if you're like, I'm trying to change the dynamic of how people think by letting them know the Earth is flat, I respect that. I'm never gonna say don't do it. I'm just saying like asking me, like I don't know. Did I see the Michael movie? No, I didn't see the Michael movie, lady. Just yeah, I don't really have. I mean, that's nothing against Mike. Like he's the king of pop, and I don't think he did it. But yeah, it's just not. I don't. I just not something I care. I mean, I feel like yeah, I'm good. Jojo, I don't do favorites. So yeah, I try not to I try not to rank things in life all the time. Um, but I will say, there are seasonal jobs I've gone back to a number of different times. So obviously, like the YMCA of the Rockies, I really appreciate it. But as far as like chapters in my life, I definitely can't rank those because I think like it's all one life, So being a teenager was cool, My 20s was great. My 30s was great. My 40s are being great. You know what I mean? So like, like I couldn't pick one. You know, I will say my teen years, there was some struggles that I'm glad I got through. Um, but we still was, like I would never, yeah, yeah, I just don't spend a lot of time ranking stuff. Like I'm just try to enjoy all of it. Are you from Colorado? Oh, not. Yeah, Colorado's a vibe, man. I'm sure I'll end up back there soon. Yeah, Colorado's a vibe. But so is Montana. So is Alaska. So is Arizona. So is Nevada. Trying to think of states I spent time in. So is Oregon. Um, it's my least favorite question. No, I mean, I don't. I understand that people ask that question because they've grown up around people asking that question. So I get it. Like, it don't bother me. But like, honestly, if I wasn't asked that question so much, I probably wouldn't have realized how little sense it makes, at least in my life. Um, because sometimes you have to really see it to see it. So, yeah, I used to do favorites until I got on the internet, and I'm just like, because people ask me my favorite of everything, and I'm just like, everything? I have to have a favorite? It's exhausting. So I'm like, I'm just not gonna do favorites. You don't have to do anything. You know, there's nothing in life you have to care about if you don't care about. If you don't want to care about the Briggs Meyer test, you tell people that. I tell them all the time. If you don't think about them, you don't have to care about the WNBA. I love it. It's funny. A lot more people caring about it. A few years ago, it was always jokes. Now, people care about it. Thanks, Prado. We working. I've never spent time in Michigan. No. L. I think I would like to. Maybe in the future. Yeah, I think I would like to, but not. I've never. Yeah, I never spent any time in Michigan. I know a lot of people from Michigan. Um, oh, I definitely have goals for the future. It's funny. I have a lot of like little goals. Things like I want to do that, but then I also have some bigger goals. Write a book, become a paid public speaker. You know, see 6 continents, 100 countries. Like stuff like that. But I'm one of those. I try to stay balanced between like pushing myself and we kind of touched on this earlier and waiting for the right time. So I'm one of those. I put the intention out there, and if it feels like there's steps I need to take towards it, cool. If not, then I just sometimes the step I need to be taking is just keeping the goal in front of me, you know, and then all of a sudden, like I've noticed that like there'll be a time period when it's like, hey, now you need to work on this. Now is time. Here's the opportunity to go for it. Whereas a year ago it was kind of like, yeah, I'm gonna do it one day. So, Hargis, I think you have to pay to give a TED talk. Somebody told me. So I don't know. Like I don't. I just want to get to the point where like I'm speaking publicly and getting a check for it, and I don't really care the venue. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be a TED talk. Like I don't. If a company wants to invite me to their corporate headquarters to speak to their employees about abundance, I'm that just as cool to me as a TED talk. Like I don't. I just want to stand up and talk and get my check. Like I don't, you know. TED Talk is not a goal for me. Like, but if if it was offered, I might do it. But you grew up in Western Michigan, lady. Think I would enjoy it? I'm like, I definitely do want to get to Michigan. Do know. New avatar. How you doing? How you doing? Appreciate you sticking around. How much money is enough money for what? DYB? Like in general, or enough money for what? Enough money to get me on stage? I mean, I'm sure when we break into our public speaking career, at first we'll do it for free, and then you go along, people start paying you. But what are you asking? How much is enough money for what? Go raise our people to tell a place to quit their job. Hey, you know what I mean? Like I'm not gonna hold you. If I had a company, I would want you to leave if you weren't happy there. I want employees there that want to be there, that want to be a part of the company. I wouldn't mind somebody coming through and talking about like, hey, if you don't want to be here, leave. Find something better. Because I know that same guy giving that speech at another company is gonna move some people to quit that are gonna come to my company. You know what I mean? I wouldn't mind that message. Hey, let's tighten it up around here. You know? Angela, I low key missed you. No, I did realize you missed the last stream. I think Praveen brought it up. I think Praveen was like, "Where's Angela?" Somebody brought it up. I didn't notice at all. I'm joking. I did notice. I miss you. You know I always miss you. I had to actually moderate. I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm joking. Hey, good night, Queen. Yeah, DYB. Yeah, I think if you're talking in general, what's enough money? I think it depends on what you're trying to do. Like we have these arbitrary like this would be enough, but like that's why we say like I don't mind money. I think money is a tool, and I appreciate any type of financial abundance. Um, but I don't need to be a millionaire because I'm not trying to live a millionaire lifestyle. You know what I mean? Like the life I'm trying to live does not take millions of dollars. So like I don't need that. That's why I don't dream of being a millionaire. I just dream of being financially free. That's what I'm going for, and that's what I'm going to achieve. And it's less about the number than like the ability, right? There is like I do one year want to make six figures just to say I did it. Just want to hit 100,000, a little over that, just say I did it. But honestly, for me, it's more about how I don't even want to say what lifestyle like what do I want my life to look like? What do I want to do? And then it's just a matter of making enough money to do that. And I think I wish more of us focused on that. Instead, we're still focused on like, I need to make this amount of money. We don't even know why. I'm trying to, millions of dollars for what? You know what I mean? Because let's say you do get $10 million. What are you gonna do with it? You know what I mean? Like Jim Rohn said one time, if you ever win millions of dollars, you best become a millionaire quickly. But that's hard to do. So I think it's more important to focus on like what do you want in life, and then figure out how to get the money to get it. But since you've been focusing on like that's what you wanted to do, then you know what to do with the money. Because a lot of times we focus so much on getting the money, A, we never get it. Or B, if we do get it, we don't know what to do with it because we haven't thought about that. So I'm like, yeah, what do you want your life to look like? How much is that going to cost? Well, that's all you need to make. And if you do make extra, well, cool. Invest that, save that, whatever. Give more, whatever. But like the ideal of like there's an arbitrary number, like, because it's usually so big. So man, I got to get 25 mil for what? You know what I mean? Like that's what I wonder about with people. Um, yeah, and you see a lot of people who are very wealthy and still got a lot of drama in their life. You know what I mean? Like I don't know, bro. Like I just want to live the life. I just want to be free. I just want to live the life that like I want to live. And if it takes a certain amount of money, I just want to make that. You know. which, if you think about it, a lot of people aren't doing what they want to do in life, it's not because of money for a lot of people. It's they have the opportunity, the ability. A lot of times the money, that's not what's holding them back. True. What places do I want to visit? Yeah, I've been saying for years. I gotta get to London. I gotta get to Tokyo. Um, I low key now want to go to Australia. One of the basketball players in the WNBA that I admire the most, didn't say favorite, that I appreciate a lot is Maddie Westfeld, and she's going to be playing in Australia after the WNBA season is over. And I really wish one day I could go over there and watch her play in Australia. Even though I could just go to Chicago and watch her, but she don't play now. She's a developmental player, so she just sits on the bench. Um, but that's the type of thing I'd like to do. Fly all the way to Australia just to watch her play a game and say what's up. I'm gonna hold up a sign. I flew 3,000 miles just to see you play. She'd be like, that guy's a creep. Watch him. But the guy with the gray beard, watch him. Um, but I think I would like to go to Australia. Yeah, I think that's on my list now. RTC Consulting, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Super Chat Squad, thank you so much. Let me give you a like on that. Thank you for the continued support. RTC Consulting, thank you, because you came through with love last stream. So thank you so much. So yeah, those are a couple places I would want to get to. Thank you, Angela, for asking people to hit the like button. L, yeah, after Montana, I was saying earlier, I never really say. Um, I learned on the internet not to say what I'm about to do, low key for sometimes safety reasons, but also if I don't do it, I never hear the end of it. So people months to come will be like, I thought you said you were going to go do that. So I learned to just not say what I'm doing. When I do it, I'm there. I'd let you, when I'm there, I let you know. So yeah, I'm here. I'm in Montana till for August, and then we'll be hitting the road again. Hey, retired. That's awesome. That's awesome. That's awesome. Glad to hear your blood marks are improving. Glad to hear that. ROTC, thank you. Thank you. DYB, I can't answer those questions. Like I said, you might be right. The Earth could be flat. I don't know. I'm definitely not the person to have a decent discussion about that. Like I don't. Because like if we start questioning that, then there's so many other things about the Earth we could question. You know. So why stop there? Why not keep questioning? You know what I mean? Like so like for me, it's just one of those things like if they want to say the Earth is round and they got cool pictures of it, cool. I'll run with that, and I'll run with that until I see a need not to. And for me personally, I currently haven't seen that need, so we good. You know, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa! No, no, no. Actually, no, we're not. No, we're not. We still get love coming in. We're gonna keep going. Okay. Wow, wow. That is crazy. That is crazy. Back to back love. Okay, okay, okay. Heart just coming through again. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Super chat squad. Thank you. Says more wisdom. Been making six figures for decades, and now I'm in 50s and can't figure out what the next step is. Money, everything. You also need to know where you're going and why. Thank you for chiming in on that. Thank you for chiming in on that. As someone who's made good money, made six figures for decades, thank you for chiming in for, especially for like the young dudes, late teens, early 20s, and once again, that's a beautiful thing to make good money. But to have, I think that is the part of the equation that a lot of times people leave out when talking to young people is not just make the money. It's like you need, like you said, you need to know your where and your whys. So if you're making the good money or you're making regular money, why? What are we doing with it? Where are we going with it? And I think that's the part we leave out. What are you doing it for? Where are we going? Fast forward 40 years from now, what steps can you take now so that down the line you got something to do. You know what you're doing. It's not just about, just making the money is not going to solve everything. And I think that's the messaging we get. It's like, oh, if you go to the right schools and you get the right job and you're making X amount of money, everything's fine. It's like you still have to live your life, you know? And then we got Goat No Answers. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Super Chat Squad coming through with love. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Give us to the Freedom Fund. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That's incredible. I appreciate that. Hey, retired 2019, so I retired at 57. Best decision ever. Freedom is priceless. And yeah, if you can use that money to get free quicker, go for it. But that works when you have a plan for like what you're going to do when you get free. You know, there's a lot of people who retire early, go back to work. You know, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing. You know, but I think yeah, it's yeah, make money and get some wisdom going. Derek, saving your money to head to Antarctica. Okay, okay, okay. Enjoy. Thank you, Angela, for checking in. World best moderator. World's best moderator. Appreciate you being a part of the stream. And I'm probably gonna wrap it up here in a minute too. I was about to, but some love came through, so we'll go a little bit longer. Oh, Praveen checking in. Okay, okay. Fat Daddy the trucker. What up, what up, what up? Good to see you. Good to see you. Yeah, I don't ever like to end the stream abruptly if people show love. I don't think that's fair. Um, yeah, Angela, keep enjoying your birthday weekend. Don't get too crazy. Now, Praveen, it's all good, man. I know you're busy. I know you got to prepare. You got a new job coming up next week. You got to prepare for that this weekend. I'm just glad you're here. Always glad to see you. Always happy for you to pop in. Thank you, retired. Thank you. Glad you enjoyed it. Good to see you. Glad you you know, I thought you gone. You still here. Okay, thanks. It's always cool. Like someone might just lurk for a bit and they say, I'm like, damn, they still here. Cool. I appreciate that. Thank you, Leslie. Iceman, I have been to Los Angeles a couple times. I'm not gonna hold you. I do not like LA. It's just not my type of city. One time I went and I totally stayed in the wrong part of town. One time I went to LA, got so high and got paranoid. I was hanging out with the bro, I was hanging out with the bro, and we had a little something, so we, partook, and bad got so paranoid. I said, man, I can't mess with this Cali weed. That was years ago. I don't smoke no more, but LA's just not my type of town. So if I'm ever there, I'm trying to get out of there as soon as possible. Fat Daddy said, quick suggestions on content creation. Could you be a little more specific? Just because it's hard to, that's such a broad question. I'd love to answer, but could you be a little more specific? Oh, Praveen, you joined the YMCA today? Okay, I ain't mad at that. Retired, you still standing? Let's go. Let's go. I'd love to hear it. Lady, you got friends who went to Antarctica? Okay, okay. I mean, they every now and then on Cool Works they have jobs in Antarctica. They fly you up there, pay for everything, but you got to get your wisdom teeth pulled out and all kind of other stuff. You got to go through all these tests because they don't want there to be anything where you have to fly back before it's time for them to come get you. So I've heard that that if you haven't removed your wisdom teeth, you got to take them out, and they run all these tests to make sure you don't have no health stuff. Because once you up there, that plane ain't trying to come back for like 3 months. So I'm like, yeah, that's a bit much for me. I'm good. Iceman, you don't like LA either? Yeah, I don't know. Like, it's just too, like, I don't mind a city like the size, a big city like the size of Denver. And the vibe of Denver is cool for me. You start getting LA and it's just too much going on, man. The traffic's way too crazy. Like, I'm good. I'm chilling. Praveen is going swimming tomorrow for the first time in 13 years. Okay. Can you swim with glasses? I don't know. Don't they make like goggles, like swimming goggles? I only know that because at the hotels I work at, if there's a pool, the kids leave their goggles everywhere. I think they make swimming goggles for me. Oh, Fat Daddy says suggestions on getting started, getting monetized. How often should you post? What about Kick? For getting started, I think it's just a matter of doing it. You know, the hardest part is posting and doing it consistently. There's no real guideline on how often you should post. It's just whatever feels right for you, especially these days. I'll say these days, I don't think you can post too much. So post as much as you want or as little as you want. Um, Consistency is more the key because a lot of people will get in there and they'll post, right? Um, but 3 months later they stop, and that doesn't really do any good. So yeah, it's not about is consistency is really the key. You know, yeah. And what is kick? I don't know what kick is. And as far as getting monetized, yeah, you just that consistency and just keep going and what too, like, I think as you do it, you learn. So you post certain videos and you see they might do better. You post certain videos and you see YouTube recommends them more. So it's like, oh, I can double down on that. I can do more of that. And those are little tips and tricks and techniques that you learn that allows you to like grow so you get monetized quicker. Um, so a lot of it comes with doing, because you learn more about what works and what doesn't. New York's even worse. I went to New York once when I was 5. I never been back, so I wouldn't know. But probably the same. Yeah. Hey, what's the point? Freedom. Let's go. Have a wonderful weekend, Rita. I appreciate you being here. Hard just coming through again. Oh, hold on. Let me put you a like on that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Super Chat Squad. Thank you, Hard CD. So thanks for the stream, brother. Hope you have a great Big Sky Saturday evening. Hopefully the smoke is too bad where you're at. It's off in Missoula. Oh, it's bad here too. It's bad. Literally, I went out to the car to get something before I started the stream, and like you could see like little bits of ash coming down, and I was like, "Yep, staying inside today." So yeah, it's bad. Which kind of sucks because this time of year is beautiful in Montana. So yeah, I'm manifesting it raining within the next 2 to 3 days. That's what I'm manifesting, and hopefully that helps. But I hope you have an amazing Big Sky Saturday evening as well. Thank you so much for the love, for the support, and yeah, I'm hoping there's clear, sunny skies for you as well, and everybody in this part of the country soon. But thank you so much for that support, man. I really appreciate it. Thank you, and for chiming in and sharing your insights and wisdom. So thank you. Hey, CLU, glad you enjoyed it. Faringa, watch that rerun. Kick is the new wave? Okay, all right, I have to look into it. Thank you. I'll try to remember it was you who told me. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, on that note, I think I am going to jump off. We've been going for like over 3 hours. That's amazing. That's amazing. That's the longest stream we've had in a while. All our equipment worked. Last week we was getting thrown off every hour, so to be able to go like 3 hours is amazing. I'm happy. I hope y'all are happy. I keep telling you at the end of every stream, this means so much to me to be able to jump on here and y'all come through. We spend time together. Shout out to the Super Chat Squad. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. That is love. Thank you. We definitely gonna be using the Freedom Fund to live our life. You know what I mean, and get free. So I appreciate y'all. Shout out to Angela. I know she's gone, but for her moderating, even though I think I did all the work. Anyway, I love y'all. Stay blessed. We'll talk again soon. Thank you.